So hello everyone at the table. Hello in recording land. This is Courage and Chaos. This is Dungeons & Dragons for absolute beginners. And the whole purpose here is to teach absolute beginners how to play D&D from scratch. I use materials that you can use yourself if you're on Patreon watching this video. These materials are available so you can do this yourself. You can teach a bunch of workmates or friends and you all can be inspired to do this as well. I give away and I give mentorship and all that to make this possible. So you can get a bunch of friends or a bunch of colleagues together and be a DM, which is not that hard to do if you kind of approach it the way that I do, and teach Dungeons & Dragons. So this video is with all these people that have just started several sessions ago as absolute beginners, and now we're progressing as we go. The idea is we leave nobody behind, so still really important that you ask questions. You're helping everybody around the table and on the video if you're asking questions about how D&D works, so always ready to do that. And we want to give you that variety of experience too. So you'll get a little bit of everything in these games so you get an idea of what you want to do more of. Okay, so the most recent scene that you're in is you have just done that stack puzzle. That you're at the bottom of a cold red dungeon surrounded by red bricks. You know, you're quite a bit underground. You've gone down some stairs through a few different rooms underneath that big trap door that was guarded by that red-wearing ghost. You've got a red-robed figure way up above you. You know, his name is Renish. And he's been looking down at you, somewhat, watching as you just solve what seems to be a kind of a skill test and also, logic test. You've been operating these little machines and things to change these mosaics on the walls, and you've just put this gauntlet on top of Narath, I believe it was. So you moved pieces around until there's a gauntlet on Narath and two skeletal hands over a cabin door and a bandfill. And as that happened, some treasure chests got revealed by solving these puzzles. Like it released some treasure chests. Those treasure chests are now bobbing on this weird black liquid that you can stand on. It's so thick that you can stand on this liquid, and it's just risen to the top. And you're free to leave this room, but the treasure, of course, is the most interesting thing. We're just at the end of that. The golems that all came up and were sort of wrestling with you and trying to attack you, they've all sunk back down. Did I give you guys the offer to take an item of yours and dip it in? Yes, so some of you have dipped some things in there and you've coated that with some liquid iron, so it's a bit of a trophy that you can get.
And playing cards. So I can dazzle my opponents when I'm playing.
So, and you've just started deciding, like, okay, you have the temporary urge, some of you, say, we're going to, wrestle for this treasure. We're all going to die for the treasure. Let's forget our dice. Let's forget all of our usual adventure rules. We just feel like we want to assert our power. But you all calmed yourselves down. You kind of assess the group. The majority of the group want to do things fairly. And Renish is like, he looks very disappointed as you decide not to do that. In that moment, let's go ahead and go around the horn to introduce each person here. Oliver here is playing Saryeth, and Saryeth, he is a high elf wizard level 2. So in this moment, what's different about Saryeth? What do we notice about him that's different than usual?
Saryeth is looking through the treasure hoard trying to find soap for his greasiness.
He's covered with grease, that's right. He used grease a couple times. Imagine this. It wasn't very well directed, perhaps. You're not very good at it, so you're hoping there's some soap in there. That's great. Michael here is playing Fogrim, and he is a dwarf cleric level 2. What's new about Fogrim that we notice?
He's frustrated with the puzzles that we've had to do, and he wants to get back to doing some. Some fighting.
Pacing around, want to fight.
That's
okay.
right.
Great. All right. We have Sean here is playing Shudyan. Shudyan is a human fighter level 2. How is Shudyan looking or feeling that's different than usual?
Thinking about how an axe isn't really the best weapon sometimes, and for blobby things, and doesn't bite in and bounces off.
Oh yes, a little daunting. The idea of being a warrior with these weapons and weapons that don't really do what they're supposed to against these sort of liquid monsters. That's a bit freaky.
Thinking they should be sharper or
wondering. Yeah, okay. Both of you may be comparing notes on your weapons and things. All right. Olenka is playing Shmaragd, and they are a dwarven cleric level 2. So tell us what's up with Shmaragd right now.
So Shmaragd's feeling pretty pleased with themselves for being able to help solve that puzzle, and also just participate a little bit with the working out how those golems were put together with the sort of
right, yes.
practicing these these cleric spells and the medicine check, but also being able to help solve the puzzle and sort of going, okay, I'm they're feeling pretty pleased with themselves that they've been able to help out and be a little bit of everything and useful to.
Used your mind a bit as well as your brawn on that one.
Yeah.
All right, feeling smart. That's good. All right. Jimmy, of course, sent his regards. He said that he will come next time, but he had, I think, work or something that prevented him from coming. But he might also be at the pub on Wednesday. Anthony is playing Gammy, and he is a halfling rogue level 1, or have you become level 2 at this point?
I think I'm still level 1.
Okay, that's fine.
I forgot where it says somewhere.
No worries, okay. And
that thing.
Based on experience.
Oh yeah, it goes over there.
yeah.
Someone's keeping track.
Yeah, what's your total amount of experience you've got now?
350.
Oh, then you are level 2.
Oh, neat.
Hey, right on. Okay, great. So we will, if I know you did come early, but if you come early enough, then I can go through that. I'm sorry, I didn't ask before. And I think I stamped your card at least. Yeah, everybody's had their card stamped.
Yes, sir.
So Anthony, is Gammy, halfling rogue level 2. So what do we notice about Gammy that is different than usual?
Oh,
How's he feeling? How's he looking?
with all the running around, he and I, possibly one and the same, might be a little bit like the place is in this cold hell sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like the other one. So
Yeah, you realize
so
you're
we're
in hell.
like sweating, but also kind of like not sweating because it's cold.
Yeah, sort of
Kind of
almost freezing, yeah, like sweat freezing
like
on your
this weird
skin.
thing, right? So we're also kind of running around and doing these weird puzzle things. And
Yeah.
like mentally exhausted but physically drained, but also just now it's like a sense of relief.
Yeah,
'Cause
sure.
we're, like we've done. the
Yeah,
thing
you've
and
made it to the bottom of
we
a
can just-
dungeon. Yeah.
we can grab at that treasure, or we can just look at it.
Oh,
or,
sure. A rogue's
feel
looking at
like,
the treasure.
But we're recovering.
Okay. Well, speaking of that treasure that you're eyeing, let's get right to that. So we're going to.
Would have had to wait a fortnight for this shit.
That's right. So you are pulling out your little dice. Renish is tisking very disappointedly, hoping that you're going to fight for it. And as you're sort of settling down, there's a sliding sound high up in the brick ceiling above. The bricks slide open. You see the bricks, they can sort of separate and close, like you saw that Renish came out of. Something just opened up in the bricks. The bricks all slide and rearrange themselves, same way that fireplace did. And here, there's a clinking of chains, and the chain devil comes descending down, and he's hanging from all those hook chains, the same devil that you talked to before, talking about the nature of evil.
Oh, neat.
So he is here, and he looks down at you, and Renish looks at him and sort of nods, and he nods at Renish, and Renish gestures down to all of you getting around your dice. Renish shakes his head and shrugs at the devil. The devil looks at Renish, looks at your dice, and it's like, oh, this sort of pitying sort of look is like, oh, no. I'm very disappointed that you are so constrained by goodness. He always puts goodness in quotes with his black friend. You are so constrained by goodness that you won't use your abilities to get everything you can. I have another way to discover those abilities. Fight! So, there's another sliding sound as bricks on the far wall across from where the mosaics are in this narrow room. The bricks slide open, and you see 5 blocks of ice. The chains hanging from the chain devil, they're always sort of moving and sort of hovering around him, and he looks at these blocks, and the chains, wham, 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 hit all the blocks of ice, and the ice blocks shatter. There's figures in each of these blocks of ice, and as soon as the ice shatters, these things sort of drop, and they sort of shake themselves off and start moving. These things are in suspended animation hidden behind the bricks, and they're being revived for your benefit. Probably not benefit. You can see that these are monsters of various sorts, and as he said, he really, he's really disappointed you're not going to fight each other, so you're going to fight something so he can get something idea of your abilities. We're going to have a little bit of combat here, so we're going to do a roll of initiative. Roll your d20 and add your dexterity bonus. Now, this is your initiative bonus, yeah.
Alright.
17.
16.
Okay, so just remember what your total is.
3 and 3.
Okay.
6.
What's the, what is the...
Plus your dexterity bonus.
Oh, okay.
The big number, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so Foghorn was 17.
Plus.
Everybody else give me something else.
16.
5.
16.
8.
5 from Shudian. What was yours, Oliver? Or
8. Did we take a long
Sorry?
rest?
8?
No.
No, this is just moments after.
I know, I'm looking at my hit points too, buddy.
Yes, that's right. Your most depleted. Fulgrim?
Oh, yeah, that.
Do you got that? Oh, Gemi, what is yours?
2 hit points and 6.
You rolled a
Initiative
6?
6, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. So
initiative.
you've added the dexterity bonus to that. So
Yes,
yeah, just
3
and make sure you check your neighbor every time your neighbor rolls a die. Make sure they're adding something with a 6. Okay. All right. So this is this is the first time we've used actual initiative. So we actually go in the order in which we go. So I'm teaching you a little bit more about real combat. You go in the order of your initiative. The monsters themselves have initiative.
Oh, okay.
However, the monsters themselves also can do something called a surprise round because this happened, suddenly you're distracted by the devil and these things opened up and shattered. The monsters, no matter where they are on the initiative, the first round, only they get to act. So you're kind of paralyzed. Now, certain classes can't be surprised. So if you have a class that says, you're incapable of surprise, that would mess up the devil's plan. But as it is, these monsters get to go first. However, you realize as with Fight, he's looking at each of you, and you realize as you look around, you find yourself that you're hoping to fight one of these particular monsters. You see each of you, from your point of view, can see 5 monsters to pick from, and each of you, in the order of initiative, you don't get to do anything, but you feel like a compulsion to sort of lock eyes with one of these monsters, and you know that that's going to be an enemy that you're going to fight. This feels gladiatorial. So, Fogrim chooses first, and here are the 5 monsters that you see. One is a goblin. You've seen goblins before. Another one is a winged kobold. BB was a winged kobold. Looks just like a kobold, but has dragon wings. Next one is a hobgoblin. You've seen these before. Hobgoblins are... Oh, sorry. The goblin and winged kobold are... I was expecting some level 1 characters. We have some level 2. Okay. So the goblin and winged kobold seem to be a little bit on the weaker side compared to the next ones. So just pick appropriately. Hobgoblins are grown-up goblins and that were leading the other goblins with banners as they're marching around. They're full medium-sized. They have goblinoid features. So if you remember what the pictures, I wish I had time to make pictures of all these. That would be great. But stand tall, have a bow slung across their back, and have better armor than your average goblin, and a long sword. You see a humanoid creature that has the head of a dog, has a spear, has some fur armor, but also covered with fur, but a sort of humanoid arms and legs, but the head is fully dog-like with a big gaping mouth.
Like Anubis.
Yeah, sort of like Anubis.
Anubis.
The
Jackal god.
Egyptian, god.
The fifth one,
Oh, okay, I was thinking of Stargate.
is also humanoid.
Anubis and Stargate.
That's fine.
His shield was
Oh.
dog, dog
Yeah.
face.
There you go.
Yeah, neat.
The fifth one is a humanoid, but with the lower body of a goat. Has a sort of backward feet and hooves. He's got a hairy chest. He's got a humanoid head, but he's got 2 curly horns on either side of his head. He's got a panpipe slung across his back, but he also has a short sword at his side. Sorry, there's a 6th one. The 6th one is just a dude. He's a guy. He's wearing red and black armor. He's got a mace, but he's extremely buff. It's like he's just got sort of low armor, but extremely muscular and very angry looking. He's covered with black tattoos. He's got.
We
he's
need
got-
a visual.
he's got
Red covered in black tattoos.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a lot of red and black leather armor and tattoos and stuff. So, those first 2 seem to be a bit weaker, but of course, the choice you make may tell more than just whether you win or not. So, you have the first choice amongst them.
Health really quick.
I got 2 health.
2, Jesus.
6. Running out of spell
5.
slots.
Yeah, I was pretty low as well. So,
What's that?
what was I?
I healed you. You should put like half of your.
Oh, yes, I was back to about 9.
Right,
Yeah,
nice.
that's right.
Yeah, okay. So I'm 9 as well, so we should probably do the bigger ones.
I would.
Put
I
your
will-
chip next to the one that you...
That's probably a better way to do it. I've actually forgotten most
Yeah,
of what
winged
you said.
kobold,
My
yep.
apologies.
There was the hobgoblin.
I've got it written down, but feel free. Go and recite it.
Anubis.
I'm interested
well,
in that.
jackal-headed
Or the
human.
jackal.
Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
jackal-headed human.
Dog head, yeah.
Or dog-headed human. The goat-legged human. And then the red and black
Spell slots left.
buff guy.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's spell slots left.
And
I've got a play to make if someone can cover me for a second or two.
dude.
I'll fight the dude.
Okay, so take your chip and put
What
it
is
next
your
to
health?
the dude.
We said ours.
Nine.
But nine, yeah.
Try not to kill him.
Next is Smaragd. You are the next higher initiative, so pick your enemy.
Can you remind me the satyr? The ram
This is
legs.
combat. You only got a couple seconds, so I'll
No,
just
they have what? A sword, and you said
have a short
a-
sword and horns on his head, and sort of goat-like, ram-like legs.
Oh, give it a go.
All right, Sarya.
Yep. I'll go with Goblin.
Okay, you to challenge the goblin. Gammy.
There's only 2 left. 3 left.
There's
Three left.
3 left. Okay.
Flying one or hobgoblin or the dog head.
The what? The dog.
Dog head.
The
Goes
dog
this-
head looks good.
This way in order of difficulty.
Yeah,
we
these
think-
two look a little bit easier. The rest of them look,
Right.
they all look equally
Okay.
dangerous.
With your 2 health.
So they're not all
Yeah.
rising difficulty. They're 2 groups. So these
okay.
two are seem to be less threatening than the last
Oh,
one.
okay.
Quick.
I don't care.
quick?
Yeah, the second one.
Do you have
Okay.
a token?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, the second one?
Thank you. All right.
Sorry. I'll just go dog head.
Okay. So Fogrim, you taking on the
Dude.
dude. Okay.
The dude.
All right. The dude comes on up. He's like, "All right, let's do this." He comes running towards you. He raises his he raises his mace.
Oh, he's got a mace.
And as he reaches, you realize that he is faster and faster with this mace than you think. He has also got a slung across his back. You notice now he was so big you couldn't quite see. He's got a really heavy crossbow across, but it's like he sort of reaches at it, but he's about 30 feet away from you. Oh, the reason he's 30 feet away from you is once you sort of choose that, the chains reach down to all these different figures behind us. So that's clearing out the ice, and they move, so whoever you locked eyes with kind of moves into a lane 30 feet away from you. So each of you, your chosen enemy, has now been kind of moved, so you're about 30 feet away from you. You're all sort of standing apart. And these icy boxes suddenly appear, like they sort of form out of the ground, and you are alone in this icy box with your enemy. You're alone in this icy box with your enemy. So before you can do anything, you can't really see each other. You don't think you'll be able to break out, that's why you're trapped in this like little sort of alleyway-sized box with this enemy. So there's anything else I forgot to mention. Yep.
And then I.
Oh yeah.
But you can still see the figure of the devil hovering over you, so you think the devil is able to see you. All right. So, yeah, he reaches for his crossbow. He's like, "No, let's just do this. Come on, dude." He comes running at you with his mace. And as he does, he's got a multi-attack, which means that he can take 2 swings at you.
Okay. Let's go.
So, with the mace, first swing is a 6. Oh, he swings way too early, and you're like, before he even closes with you, you're a little bit of footwork, able to back up, and he's unable to do that. He swings again with his mace with a 12. What's your
18.
18. Bam! Hits your armor. It's like, ooh, that's good armor. But he does not do any damage to you. Meanwhile, let's go to the next Shmaragd. What did you pick? What are you fighting?
Ram legs.
Yeah, that's right.
Hopefully their hoofs will slip on the ice
That's
as they
right.
run towards me.
Well, that is exactly what he does. He puts his little head down, he runs towards you super fast, like he's going to ram you. All right, as he rams towards you with a 15.
No.
What is it? Yeah, you have a
18.
shield, aren't you? Yeah, so boom, he gets it right in the stomach, but he sort of, your feet slide back, but he's not able to do anything more than just hit you, and you are able to absorb that with your armor. Sarya, who did you pick?
Goblin.
Goblin, okay. So as the ice sort of shatters, so you saw him there, he moved around, there's a whole sort of cloud of ice. This is all dim light in this room, by the way. You have dark vision, but still dim light as it goes. So you have dim is still dim. And when it vanishes, the goblins he was sort of temporarily out of sight, and you think that he might be sneaking up on you based on his stealth. So the first thing he's going to do is try to roll stealth. And you'll know right away whether you can see him or not, because you can tell that he's trying to hide. What is his stealth bonus? Oops. I've got that. Okay. Now, what is your passive perception? So if you rolled a 10 on perception, what score would you get?
Passive perception. I don't have a number.
So it would just be your wisdom bonus. So it should be listed in your list of perception, but unless you've got proficiency in it, it's just your wisdom
Perception
bonus.
plus 3 is.
Yeah, so if you rolled if you rolled a 10, so passive perception is like you're always rolling 10
Okay.
on perception to see things are sneaking up on you.
15, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm not 100%.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, take a look. So take a look at the perception bonus there.
Yeah.
So if you just had a 10.
If you rolled a 10.
Oh, I didn't roll anything.
No. This
but
is called
this-
passive perception.
So what we might do, we need to write that in. 'Cause
Yeah, it
mine-
actually, it's a little bit
Because
faded.
mine actually has already 13. So if I rolled a 10
Yeah.
and added my perception, I'd be on 13 the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
So
it's,
you're going to be 13 as well.
Okay,
yeah, 13, right?
Sorry.
So what I do is I've rolled this 14, I've added his stealth bonus,
Yeah.
so just like you have, he has stealth skill, and if that total exceeds your passive perception, he vanishes from sight.
Okay.
He vanishes from sight.
Shit.
You are looking around for him in the dim light, and you only know he's there when he stabs at you, when he shoots at you, when a short bow comes whistling out of the dark.
Cool.
This is because he has advantage, because he can't see you. I take 2 dice, and I take the higher of the 2. With a 24 is a critical hit.
Yeah.
Oh dear. You
See,
are
mate.
hit with a crossbow for 8 points of damage.
Yeah. I'm no longer here anymore.
No. So you're like, where'd he go? And you're stuck in this cage with like sort of the ice settled down, this dim light. You're like, he's got to be around here somewhere. And just from a little lump in the corner of this dim light, this arrow comes out. You didn't see it coming.
See it.
Oh, it goes into your chest.
Not
You
again.
can just barely see through the sort of fog. But see, sorry, like his chest hits and goes down. And the goblin's like, he raises his bow in triumph.
Victory.
Back to 0.
Yep, so you're at 0 hit points. That was
Fatality.
great, and that was Sarah, the Gemi. Who are you taking on? The wing kobold?
Yes.
No, you're taking
Yes.
doghead?
No.
Or are you?
No, wing kobold.
Wing
Wing
kobold.
kobold,
Sorry,
okay.
Yeah.
All
Down.
right. This alleyway, for all of you, is kind of, they're all sort of tall. So the winged kobold launches up into the air. It can actually fly. He actually spreads those wings, and they're functional wings. And as he does, that means that he's out of range. So hopefully you have something to fire back with your bow or something else, because he is
short
out
bow.
of your short. Oh, good. So your short bow will be handy. Good thing for you having it.
If you live.
He is holding onto a rock, and he flies over you and tries to drop the rock onto you. With a 12, though, what's your AC?
What's AC? Oh, armor class. Okay, 14.
14. So he does not hit. You don't dodge out of the way completely. It thumps on your leather armor, but it absorbs the blow and does not damage you. But he is hovering above you now, and then for the next turn, you'll have to deal with that. Shudyun.
Doghead.
Doghead. And on your turn, you can also do a bonus action to know more about these things. I think we have time. I don't know. We'll see. If you feel like you can do a bonus action on your turn, you might know the name of this thing. All right. This thing runs at you extraordinarily quickly, and it sort of fakes with it fakes with the spear, and just is sort of like raising it ready for the spear coming at you. He lunges forward with his teeth, and he tries to bite you with that dog mouth. With a 23, I think would exceed your AC.
It does. Indeed, it does.
You are pierced for 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And just the blood is going down his chest, and he's just doing this horrible sort of growling noise that sort of savages you, and he just seems to get more excited the more of the blood he tastes. 3. All right. We are now going to have your turn, so just like an initiative.
I'll be joining you now.
Now we'll say it's the top of the initiative, but we'll just go and basically all the monsters will go, and all of you will go to simplify this a little bit.
Yeah.
And
We'll
we
be missing
will.
fields.
Drinking tea.
That's right. And we will start with the dude against Fogrum. Fogrum, what do you want to do to this dude?
I'm going to whack him with my warhammer.
All right, so take your
We'll have to-
warhammer
have
and
to-
fight back.
All right, so 19 to hit.
Woo! Yes, he steps out of the way, but he's basically bare-chested, like he's just got sort of like the equivalent of a t-shirt on. It's like, whoa! He steps out of the way really slow. Bam! You hit him with a warhammer. Do your damage against him.
5.
Okay. 5 is quite a bit of damage. You know, you would have wounded a kobold. You would have wounded, made even that goblin boss take a big chunk. It's like, oh, is that all you got? He doesn't seem to be very badly damaged. He seems to be a pretty much a hardy sword as he absorbs that hammer. Next in the order is Shmaragd against this ram thing.
Okay. Can I do an action and a bonus action, or just
Yes.
the one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So full combat. So you can do bonus action and an action.
Okay, because I would like to do physical damage and then for bonus action heal myself.
All right.
So I think I will see. Do you know what I want to? I don't know if I want to cast a spell for damage or if I want to do physical.
Got to hustle you through combat, and the mayhem of combat is part of the fun. You got to decide quick.
All right, I will also use my warhammer on this ram legs.
All right.
Given that they sort of butted me in the chest, I'm going to
Oh
push
yeah,
them
so you
back in the
shove back and
chest.
try to get some distance and swing that big old hammer.
All right, for starters, does a 10 hit them?
No.
10 plus 4 for your attack bonus.
Oh yeah, does a 14 then
Ah,
hit them?
so you swing once and he jumps out of the way, but then you do the backswing. You're so strong that you're able to do that backswing. You clip him underneath the chin, so you do hit him. Good job.
Okay, and now for damage, it's a d8 plus 2, 5.
Okay, 5. As you connect with him, yeah, again, his head snaps back, and you have some blood, sort of a little bit of blood trickles, but he seems extremely hard. He's he just kind of cracks his neck. It seems like this guy can absorb a lot of damage as well. He doesn't say that all he got, but he's just got this wicked sort of grin. And he says, "I'm not even in my home plane. This is gonna be easy," he says to you in this sort of mocking way. His home plane, okay.
So, he's injured, but not.
No,
Yeah.
he's. I
right.
I always tell you if you're there halfway through their hit points, this guy's nowhere close.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to have to use a bonus action. Healing word is a bonus action.
All right.
And so, I'm going to have to heal myself.
Yep.
1d4 plus my spell.
Yeah, plus your wisdom in this case.
So is that going to be this one?
That's your attack bonus, so be your spell casting modifier, which for clerics would be
Wisdom.
Wisdom, yeah, d4 plus your wisdom.
Oh, yes,
Woo,
7.
Nice, all
Fuck
right.
yes.
Give yourself that.
Okay.
That was Smaragd.
Woo.
Very good.
Woo.
I was like, oh, very interesting. He says, he sort of looks at you again with sort of a leer. He says, oh, you're casting magic. Chew, I'm going to like this.
Well, not for long, because that's my last spell slot.
Don't tell him that. Gammy, you've got a winged kobold hovering above you. What do you do?
Shoot him with the short bows.
Yeah. Ah! He's sort of focusing on your sword. Ah, what you gonna do? What you gonna do with that sword? And they pull out the bow from you. I was like, ah! He sort of panics a bit. You fire at him. Go ahead and roll your d20 with your bow bonus against this one.
Bow bonus.
Your attack bonus to
Oh,
hit.
okay, right. Makes more sense. 5 plus 5. Okay, then. 11, 16.
16. Yeah, your arrow flies true and you hit the kobold. Roll your damage.
So your damage is this one.
Oh, 6. Okay. 5 and... No, just 5?
No, so it's you've
No.
rolled a 6 plus
Oh,
plus
Piercing. Plus 3 piercing.
yeah.
Says.
So
So that's 8.
Okay, 8. You kill it. This is,
Nice one,
this is one of the lesser monsters, well chosen. You know, you're just level 2. You know, so that's a great choice. It's like maybe you just barely became level 2. You weren't all that confident. You haven't
On
even
2
added
health.
hit points. Yeah, no, on 2 health. You haven't added your hit points yet, and that's right. So you are able to
Just the
put
points.
about the clutch.
Whatever.
It hits him in the chest.
Sensitive.
Like ah! With
Just lay there.
he had like another sort of rock that he was playing, and he spirals
You
down.
land on the rock.
And he lands on the rocks, or he lands on the rock, takes a little bit of extra damage. He is
Just,
dead.
just got to be wondering what the goblin's doing to you while you're out.
Just-
Yeah.
Good job,
Sorry,
Dammy.
I'm trying to hear then.
Last is Shudyan with Doghead.
Mm.
So what you gonna do to Doghead?
I will whack it.
All right, whack with what kind of weapon do you
Let's
have?
go with the great axe.
All right, you decide to use your great axe. Go for that.
So the D12 plus 3 and the attack bonus.
Well,
of
first
5.
first you roll to hit. So roll a d20 to see
Okay.
if you hit the Doghead
Yeah, let's
against
see.
its AC.
11
plus
Yep.
5. For your
plus
attack bonus.
5.
Yeah, and again, as we're learning,
16.
pretty soon you'll realize you don't even have to tell me what you actually roll. Just go ahead and do the math. If you want help with the math, go ahead and say your two things. Say 11 plus 5, and somebody can do it for you. If you want to do it yourself, just come up with the total. So your total is what?
16.
16 is enough. So let's see. Yeah, this thing has got some leather armor, so it took a bit of effort to like hide this furry armor, which has absorbed quite a bit of damage, but you're able to get it through. He even had a shield that he sort of got up behind him that also adds to his armor class, but do your damage because you have gotten past those defenses.
Yes. Oh, 7.
7 total. Okay. That is not enough to take him down to half hit points. He seems to have taken pretty much a more severe blow than what the other ones that seem to shake it off. This one seemed to take it pretty hard. Not halfway down though yet. Okay, that is everybody's round. We're going to go to the top of the round, and each of them that are still alive are going to do their thing. The dude is going to come up against you again, Fogrim, and with that mace, he decides to try to work you over one more time. He has got 2 attacks with the mace. Didn't hit you last time. With a 14?
Nope.
Ah, still no. It hits your armor. Again, it's like, dude, it's cheating to like wear heavy stuff like that. Man, you should do like me. So it's like he's advertising the merits of wearing a t-shirt in combat. 16 against you.
No.
So, it's like, damn, come on, man, it's not fair. He's very mad. Your armor has completely absorbed, and you've taken no damage from this guy. It's like, oh, he's getting super mad, but he's also looking a bit nervous. That was him. Next one is the ram head going against you, Smaragd. He pulls out his short sword. He sort of flips it from hand to hand, and he's like, is it this hand, that hand, this hand, that hand, it's this hand! And he stabs at you, trying to be tricky, maybe faking you out a little bit, because he seems fairly skilled, and with an 18, is that your AC? It is. Yeah, you're sort of watching the skill, you kind of get temporarily mesmerized, and as you do, he does you for 6 points of piercing damage. Jabs it into your leg. Cuts up your armor, so I'm mad. Are you quite low in hit points? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you did not go down because of that very wise healing. And that was Smaragd's enemy. The goblin is up against you, Saryeth, but you are down.
Am I doing death saves yet?
Yes, so, well, no, it's only on your turn that he does that.
Okay.
The goblin reaches down and starts to steal things from you. Give me your character sheet.
Goody.
That's what I was worried about.
This is all the stuff that you've got?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so the higher this is, the worse it's going to be for you.
Goody.
Oh, my God!
Yep.
20.
He
That
not only
tracks
steals
it.
from you, he...
That tracks my rolls.
And how
Just
smart is
tells
he
you.
about what you actually value? No, he's not very smart about what you value. He's not very smart. So he's going to take the stuff that just looks the best. He's not going to take your spell book, for example. He knows how much that would hurt. Yep, he's going to take. He's going to take your coins. So he goes through, and you have lost. Yeah,
Just go down to 0?
Yeah, you have to cross off all of your coins.
I'll do it.
He loots you for all that. He also takes your drugs. Yeah.
That's
So
fine.
cross off.
I wasn't using those
no,
anyway.
I don't think so. No, I want you to have those. Those are fun.
Come on, man.
Potion. Ooh, he takes your healing potion. So cross off your healing potion.
That's
He's now.
50.
He's,
So all
he's
the
got
money's
that.
gone.
Yep,
and-
all the coins are gone.
Okay, cool.
Ah, dear, dear, dear.
And,
that was the goblin's turn.
So much for being brave.
The winged kobold
Ever brave.
is dead. So you, Gammy, you go over there. You realize that there's a little bit of treasure. So the devil throws somehow, like the ice cage around you starts to shatter up top, and he drops through a gold bead to you, which you can grab right away. This is a gold bead that's worth 1 gold piece. You'll all get this eventually, but you get it first. So write down gold bead and then just parenthesis 1 GP. Okay. That was its move. We are now down to the doghead against you, Shudyan. Doghead it snaps at you with its teeth, but now it surprises you by pulling back and stabbing at you with the spear instead. With an 18.
Oh yeah, but 17.
You have a 17. Oh dear, Shudyan. You are pierced. Yeah, he's got his shield up, so he's doing a little bit less damage. He's doing it one hand and takes 7 points of piercing damage.
I'm now...
You're dead too.
You go down.
Get ready to get your shit
Oh,
started.
all right. As this all happens,
Oh,
as
minus-
each thing dies, it goes down. So the devil's been watching
minus
each of you.
3.
Oh, very interesting. He's watching very intently what happens to each of you. All right, that was its turn. And at that point, all right, this is it. I've learned so much about you. Thank you so much. The chains reach down, all the boxes shatter. The chains wrap around each of these different monsters or their corpses. The monster will scream, no, don't send me back, I'll do anything for you. And they're all protesting. They'll get shoved back into the holes they came from. Ice freezes them solid, and the bricks shut up, and the combat is over.
See ya, dude.
It's like, oh, no fair. Armor, he should be wearing armor. He sort of gets dragged back. Oh, you're a wimp, man, you're a wimp.
Go with the ghost.
And he's like pointing at you as he's frozen. He's got this sort of accusatory finger on him. It's like, hey,
Get this
armor
better
works.
next time he defrosted.
All right. Well, hopefully you've learned something about these enemies that you come across, because there must be a reason why the devil picked these particular things. Now, we have somebody who's taking death saving throws.
Yep.
Luckily, you were not robbed, so you survived one round, so nothing got taken away from you, just as the dog head was sort of reaching down. It was a knoll. You mentioned knoll, so you can
The
remember
second would be helpful.
You're unconscious and you can't do it. No, you can't do it. Second wind is always good to do while you're conscious. So we have two people doing death saving throws. You can stabilize them, and then over time they'll come back to life. If someone's stabilized, that only takes a medicine check that's a DC 10, or a healer's kit can do it instantly.
Or alternatively.
The problem is it takes 1 to 4 hours for them to regain consciousness, and they got 1 hit point.
I do have healer's kit. I bought it from the kobolds last
Okay.
time we were there. I believe it has 10 uses.
So besides you two, we'll just go around in the same sort of initiative order, which we usually do. So Fogrum, you've got 2 people dying. Is there anything that you want to do? The devil's hanging way up there. The Renish is watching all this as well. They're pathetic.
Leave us and just let's steal our shit.
I did consider it, but I'm not an evil character. So.
Yeah, I guess in the same sort of reason that you voted, that you collectively voted not to wrestle for the treasure.
I
and all
didn't.
that.
It's fair game. It's fair game.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. That was not my vote. But anyway,
Oh, nice.
going with the consensus. Look, I will try and.
Just go ahead and take it. The hell says you should
Just
take it.
I'll try.
Traveling through my pockets as
I'll-
I die.
What is stopping you?
I'll try and stabilize all.
When you
of
wake
them.
up, you'll have nothing.
Okay.
So I say it's a 10 DC.
Yeah, 10 DC on a medicine check. Wisdom, medicine.
50, that's way more. So there you go.
Okay, you get stabilized, and so
Well, actually, no,
you're
that
on-
would be a 20. Do it.
very good. No, it doesn't.
No, 'cause it's not a natural? Okay.
It doesn't do the same. But you're at 0 hit points, but now you're no longer doing death saving
So
throws.
just 0.
Just 0.
Awesome.
Next is Smaragd.
Well, I'm also willing to have a go with my medicine check, my medicine thing in, and stabilize you as well.
Yep. So you can use your healer's kit to do it instantly without a check. You don't have to roll.
So would that still take 1 to 4 hours?
No, yeah, so he'll be in the same state. It'll be stable, and it'll take 1 to 4 hours. It takes healing magic, a good berry, a potion, or magic spell to get them conscious in less than 1 to 4 hours.
How much does it? It just has to go higher than 10.
Yes, it's a DC 10. Yeah, you might be deciding like you don't want to use up one of your 10 healer kits
No.
charges.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to that for now and just have a go and see how I
Okay.
go with medicine. I'm getting the hang of this medicine
And it's a good
idea.
thing you have a high enough initiative that you can do this before he even does a death saving throw. So that's fine.
7 plus 5 is
Hey,
12.
no problem. All right, so now you are unconscious thanks to the care of Smaragd, and there's really nothing more to do. So we have 2 that are unconscious, and now you've got the treasure head. So at the time, so the devil finishes those. I learned so much about you, so I really encourage you. You are all rather weak, and you do not know very much about the world. I know a lot about the world, and I can give you many things that make you powerful. Tell your friends, I've got some things to do. When your friends wake up, be sure to tell them to visit me. We can make a deal that can give them much more power. This will not be the last you'll see of me. You know how to find me. He rises up, and through that hole in the ceiling, going basically to the room they know he came from, which is upstairs, and leaves you with Renish looking down at you at the end of this combat. Renish, as we sort of go into this sort of next bit, Renish looking down at you, says, yes, I learned a lot about you as well. I think that you'll find that the Abanfils, they tend to train and harden and strengthen. You have potential, but you've got to listen to our friend, he gestures to where the devil came, and let things stop restraining you from getting what you want. And you've got to be hungrier for power. He says, now you have solved this puzzle here, not very well, I might point out. You made Narath the winner, which is just part of the story. We know that Abanfil was the one that finished the battle at the end. So next time, maybe you won't fuck it up so much. There's another thing like this. It's at a place called the Temple to Soon. It is in the north, to the east of those villages you care so much about. A lost temple, but I'm sure that enterprising adventurers like you might be able to find it. Find me there, and find another place like this, but my treasures are older and much greater. As long as you don't fuck it up, you'll get all of them.
What's it called, sorry?
The Temple to Sune, S-U-N-E. Sune is a formal name. Enough of you have enough religious training that that's the name of a deity. She is a good deity. You can do more research, but Sune is a good deity of love. And is a temple dedicated to Sune, lost somewhere to the east of the farm villages you care so much about.
Oh, I thought you said north.
Hey,
To the east, so
East.
the maybe I mentioned, but I might have done it wrong. But the villages themselves are to the north, but the temple Sune specifically is to the east of those
that.
towns.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so you know how to find the
Right.
towns. They're on that road that you were following before you got kidnapped. He says, also, chaos shards. I want them. I know that some may buy them from you, the ones who wear those disgusting silver visors. Do not give it to them. Do not make them glow. I won't buy such that you're wearing around your necks. I want them that are not glowing. Raw power, raw chaos shards. I will buy them, or I will find people who will buy them from you. You'd be much better off buying them from us than selling them to us than selling them to anybody else who makes them glow and puts them into those visors. You know about the danger of demons. I know that you know this. This world is going to be taken over by demons. Only strength and order is going to stop the Horde from destroying everything. While you're piffling about with your discussion of what's the right thing to do, you're ignoring the threat that this world is under. Our organization is dedicated to order at any cost, and we will stop the demons. The devils will stop the demons. It is the only hope for the material plane. Consider that as you split up your treasure with your little dice. And he starts to move away. He sort of backs off. So if you, in your upcoming investigation, want to question him more, you have that option. But you think that he's largely checked out of this conversation. You have to sort of approach him again. So, with your little dice, as he says, you are going to deal with this horde. Now, you might want to wait until your companions wake up. It's very cold, but they don't need to do a long rest to wake up. It just takes a certain number of hours before they wake up. If you don't think you're in any danger, you can do that now. You can also gather up the treasure, not splitting it up, take it up and out to like the kobold jail, while these two are unconscious. You can sort of bear the bodies and bear the treasures up to the warm kobold jail, which may be more safe, but of course you're traveling through some questionable territory as you do that. So do you want to wait, those of you who are conscious, do you want to wait here where there's no apparent threat, apart from Renishers sneering at you, and wait for them to become conscious? Then they can use their healing or use their second wind or whatever else to get a little bit stronger before you travel? Or do you want to travel bearing them as I described?
Or just divvy it up now.
that was your share.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so again, these votes that you
One's
do
all pushed
is more like the feel of the group. So I like to keep the group cohesive, and the vote was very close, but the vote was in general to split it up fairly according to your adventurer's pact.
Let's just
So
wait, yeah.
I love the role playing if you
I was
suggest
gonna say,
it.
trying to carry, like, we're short, trying to carry them plus the treasure.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think it'd be dangerous to even climb up there again with all the people with unconscious bodies and everything else.
Okay.
The ladder and
Mhm.
some of the things and
True.
climbing and
Yeah, that
Alternatively,
shaft, yeah.
Take
Yeah.
the treasure and then come back for us later.
that's more dangerous.
Look, my cleric side says no, we could live without the
Yeah,
treasure we
yeah,
need to save the
Do you
people.
Dog
need
headed.
to save?
Okay. Very good. Let's just link you up on average. You're going to both be, I'm going to roll a d4. This is 1d4 hours. 3 hours later, you each wake up with 1 hit point. So change yourself to 1 hit point now. This is when you can use your second wind and whatever else. Just go and declare that you're doing it. You can give yourself more hit points. Use potions, use
Do you have a
spells,
second
whatever
wind?
else.
You've got nothing?
I have that one and happy to be alive.
And your healing potion got stolen by the goblin.
That's right. And I'm broke, I found out.
I can give you a healing potion.
Don't give me a healing potion.
I've got a healing potion.
Don't give me a healing potion.
It's just going to get stolen.
It's just got to get stolen.
I'm hoping he drinks it now.
I probably won't.
Yeah.
We'll
Do
have
you
a
have a second wind or anything?
I'll get a second wind. I'll do a second wind, and then when we get a chance to,
I mean, because now we've got
I
to
will.
get out
I
of
will
here.
hoard it. I won't use it.
We've still got to get you out of this.
I can get out as long as I'm still walking.
We're totally going to have a long rest. Let's take a gamble.
You are unable to take a long rest. You're so fucking cold that you know you won't.
We're not
heal.
doing it
not,
here.
not here
We're
anyway.
just gonna walk it up, and then we're gonna long rest.
You know, as adventurers, it's very hard for adventurers to resist. You know, doing a long rest or getting treasure before a long rest. I mean, the treasure's sitting right here. I mean,
I know.
come on.
I know.
I'm
I
not gonna
want my
make you
treasure.
do it, but wow.
Waited 2 weeks for my treasure. You know my treasure.
Hand me that blue folder if you would.
It's just been waiting all this time.
All right. So, are you going to split up the hoard, or are you going to get your try to get the treasure? Leave the treasure for later.
Well, while we're here,
While we're here,
like
treasure.
these guys are awake now.
Well, we're here.
We'll
Yes.
we'll take the treasure so
And
we
now
can.
we can carry the share and burden and all that sort of thing. So
Carry your share of the loot.
you've got one hit point. You can carry all this treasure.
Give me a rubber from out that zip bag. That one really sucks. I should.
Up bucket.
Does that work? Maybe I can.
It's okay.
Okay. Oh, never mind. What's the decision?
We'll split it.
Yeah, let's take the treasure.
Okay, time to split a hoard.
Oh, fuck off. 6.
Don't roll dice unless the DM asks. I have the right to use that any way I like. Luckily, what you're about to roll is not a d20. It'll be something else. Okay.
Equal.
All right. So, using your dice, you will split this up fairly. And first, our coins. Everybody loves copper pieces. All of you get 401 copper pieces. Now, these are the provenance from all over the place. Like you can see, they're all stamped in different places. And these are far-ranging cities and things that have these copper pieces. So it just seems a real exotic mix of all these coins that come from a wide variety of places.
But we're allowed to like add them to our previous amount
Yes.
of copper pieces.
Yeah, they're all the same. So just go in that
Ridiculous amount of
CP
coins.
section that you have.
450 copper.
That will replace all your other coins.
I have 550 copper coins. Like, where am I storing all this shit?
I had only
In your socks.
149 copper.
Every time you
Yeah,
roll,
plus
yeah.
400 and...
Jingles.
Well,
Yeah, plus
it takes me up to
400 now.
450.
Yeah.
No, 550. Done
Well,
540.
You also
Melt it all down.
You also split up and get 32 silver pieces. That's better. Again, every possible provenance from some far-flung locations. Very
Ooh,
far
100
away.
silver.
How many? Silver?
32 silver
32.
pieces.
I don't have any.
So what
Now I
is it,
do.
10?
Now I have
10 silver to a gold.
Points back.
I can't remember.
You split up 13 gold pieces.
Oh, more gold.
And remember that you solved the puzzle so quickly that you were able to get the treasure chest before the black liquid rose very far. You know that you're getting more than you normally would because you solved that puzzle very efficiently. You also find, as your share, is 2 gems or art objects, each worth 20 gold pieces. So like last time, you can just say 2x gem, 20 GP. So each gem is just a generic gem. Each gem's worth 20 GP. But if you want to specify what kind of gem it is, feel free. You can say it's a ruby or a diamond or a citrine or whatever else. You could also say this is 2 10 gold piece citrines if you want. I know you're going to convert this, so we'll get to the converting stuff in the horde. But you can be very creative. Or art objects. You can have one of each. The art object, again, if you sold it to anybody, it's got enough precious metals and obvious value. It's worth 20 gold pieces. And this is your chance to be creative. What's the kind of thing that the Reds would have in these chests that sort of represent this ancient war that they've been fighting? You get the idea, these must be the spoils of war you start putting it together. Like these are various things they got through conquering territory. And you can specify your art objects, but you do have to specify your art object now. You can't do it later. If you can't think of anything creative for the art object, I'd suggest just take gems instead. Write the stories that they are gems. But if you have a creative idea of your art object, share it with the group. Is there anything that's...
A locket
I'd say
with someone's hair in it.
Oh, good. Okay, I like that. That's awesome. Very good. So go and write down, locket with someone's hair, and just write 20 GP after that.
Got a picture of the dude, like a self-portrait.
So
His
great.
surfboard.
either a art object or the gems.
It could be, so you have two things. Each thing can be either a gem or an art object.
So if I
And the
want,
thing is worth 20 gold pieces.
so if I want 2 gems, I don't get the art object.
That's right.
I'm taking 2 gems, please. I'm taking 2 citrines.
Yeah.
Each
Whoa.
worth. How big would they be? Would they be like
It's
this
just-
size for?
You use your own creativity, that's fine. I take your word for it. As long as nothing ridiculous, I'll take your word for whatever.
All right, they're this size.
Okay.
Both my citrines are going to be this size because I'm going to get some rings.
Awesome. Good. I like that. Good detail.
2 GP. No, 2 citrines. I don't know. I remember here.
Okay. But there are magic items in this hoard. So anybody else want to share what their art object is?
Yeah, my art object is 2 small red ruby towers that are.
Ah, like the red towers.
Like the red
Very
towers,
good. I
like
love
the
that.
trinkets.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine, they're sort of, red stone encrusted with rubies at the corners or something, or, the whole thing is sort of like a ruby, they're extremely tiny towers made entirely of ruby, or they're
Or
red.
chess set pieces.
Yeah, or
that big.
they're like red brick that's crusted with
that's
rubies.
clever.
They're worth 20 gold pieces. That's great. 2 towers. Very nice.
One of those cheap mementos that you get at a fair somewhere.
Tourist.
Okay.
I went to the
Now,
big wheel.
we're going to roll D100s. If you have D100s, you'll see that they're 10-sided dice. If you have a die set, you can
I
just
have a
borrow
spare.
mine. Yeah,
I
don't
have
worry
a
about it.
spare
These
set
are much
if
better.
anyone
Oh, wow, you
wants
bought one.
one.
That's good. If you always roll your own dice. Yes, if we should stop sharing dice. If you own dice, try not to share them with anybody. They're sort of a luck thing, a hygiene thing, and just encouraging people to have their own dice. If you don't have D100s of this type, you can roll mine. You can see that one of them is 2 digits and one of them is 1 digit.
Wow.
So, do you have D100s of that sort?
No.
Okay, then roll that, please.
All right.
What are we rolling for, sorry?
This is,
Magic.
so who gets the first pick of these treasures, or the best of these treasures? These are the items that you get.
40.
40.
Okay, 40.
Nice
And that is Shuyan. Okay.
98.
98! Holy cow! Fogren
That's
gets a
good.
98.
Cool.
Yeah, they're nice, aren't they?
Wow, they're weighted too.
Yeah, they're metal.
Wow. Oh, nice. Impressive. Amazing.
Not loaded, just weighted.
Yeah, okay. Well, they're heavy. I mean,
They're
they have
weighty,
some
it's
depth
true.
to them. Yes.
Can't get better than 98.
Cool.
Yeah,
53.
Yeah, could get 100. 53?
Yeah.
All right.
Nice roll.
Very
That's
good.
awesome. That's cool technology. I'll pass them this way.
And you get to roll your own?
He has his own. I'll just look at them.
90, just flat.
Woo! Nice!
Number.
79.
79. All right. Cool. I will just do a sort here, and we will go from the most valuable items to the less, but you'll be able to trade these with each other. So if you don't like the item you get, you'll still have a chance to do it your way.
Amazing. Yeah.
Not for
I'm done gawking at
Given
the-
that you were most keen on the treasure, how pleased are you that you got 98?
Yeah. Okay. So when you first get items, I only describe, I'll give you this card sometimes that just has a little bit of information on it, and do not unfold the card because you have to do experiments or identification and all that stuff. So this is an uncommon item. So you can just tell by how well it's made that it's a magic item. You can always tell because it doesn't get wrinkled, doesn't get dusty, doesn't get scratched, despite the conditions that it's stored in. So you know this magic and just get a little bit of magical power. Also, the amount of power that's in it, just the finest of materials, this is an uncommon item. This is something you can sell for 500 gold pieces if you can find somebody rich enough to buy it. It is a very well-made bag of some sort. The mouth of the bag is about 2 feet wide. It could be a little backpack, it could be a purse, it could be a sack, it could be leather, it could be cloth, it could be something like that, but it's a solid color, you can't see into it. It cinches shut, and that's your card for it. But after people do trades, each of these items can have one experiment done on it by its owner, and if you don't stay its owner, but at least you have first dibs on it. But it's uncommon, as is marked there, all uncommon items of this sort are with 500 GP, so you feel free to write that down.
Should I write when I found it on it?
It's best to write down the date, so write down the 11th of May, so it's just the way if I want to look it up later. If you don't think of it for another year or so, it helps me. Sarieth with a 90. You got. Oh. Hang on. Good. Hang on. Okay, I don't have a card for it, but let me. Okay.
You got the address of the goblin.
Gotta go find him, beat his ass.
Get your money back.
I forgot to fill this in. But this will be our placeholder for it. It is a solid metal bar, but weird metal, right? Mm-hmm. It's about 1 meter long. It's got sort of 2 knobs on the end, and it's got like a button on one end of it. It's extremely heavy, and you have that now. So we call it bar with button.
It's a taser.
It is an uncommon item. So you know that all uncommon magic items can be sold for 500 gold pieces. This thing is like the Cadillac of bars.
Good. Wonderful. I've always wanted a
Bar. Smaragd with 79. You get what appears as a potion in a very well-made bottle. You know, this is an uncommon magic item, but it's a potion. You can drink it once and it has power, so it would be worth 250 gold pieces because it's so consumable. It's a very fancy bottle. It's got a weird sort of tan liquid in it. It's got something in it, and you see that floating in the liquid is a fingernail, but the fingernail looks like it came off of a very large finger. It's like a fingernail clipping floating in tan liquid. And you know that you can drink it.
It's something
Growth potion.
It's a mescaline thing.
Uncommon, worth 250 gold.
I'll pay you 13 gold pieces to drink it right now.
With a 53, Gammy.
Yep.
You find a very well-made glass jar with a sort of like a wide glass jar about this wide. As you take off the lid, it's got an greenish herbal goo inside it. It's like a sort of almost like a cream, and it's a nice herbal smell, green color, and that goo is in there. You know this is an uncommon magic item, and it is going to be worth 250 gold if you sold it, but you don't know what it does.
Guacamole is not uncommon.
Exactly, magical guacamole.
Just need some salt, some chips, and
Okay. Shuryan. You rolled a 40, which is a good roll, but not as high as usual. It is a potion of greater healing. Potion of greater healing. It's 4d4 plus 4, but could definitely save your life.
Okay.
All right. Now, of course, you can always but that's worth 250 gold. It's an uncommon item, and it can be sold for 250 gold.
44 plus 4, fuck, that's heaps.
Yeah, 4d4 plus 4. Potion of greater healing.
That would actually be more better off way to a higher character when you've got higher hit points.
Unless
Yeah.
it's all ones.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because you're either going to get anywhere between 8 to 20.
So, now you can trade with each other freely. Of course, you know their value. You can just swap them. You can swap them plus money. You can, if you have money, you make promissory notes, whatever you do. You can do that now. Anybody want to swap items? Plus cash.
You might not be able to tell me, this might be what I need to investigate, but is the special thing about this potion the fingernail or the actual liquid?
That's an experiment. The only experimentation can go. But you know you have to drink it in one go. Now, you're allowed to trade it after you know what it is, but, you know, so this is your first chance to trade items, just that each item can only have one experiment done on it, even if it changes owners.
I had a really fun investigation doing my mysterious potion, so it'll be good. Because I failed and then had to get a funny consequence.
Anybody do any trades?
See, I'm willing just to do a medicine check without actually drinking it.
Yeah, I'll explain that as we go. Okay,
Keeping myself.
last chance for trades, last chance for trades.
Say again?
Who doesn't want a bar?
All right. Now, when you do an experiment, you basically take a sip of a potion, or you can use a skill. You always use a skill. You're doing something with the object. If you experiment with it, just say what you're doing with the object and what skill you use, and we'll let the story tell the rest. I have a level here for the DC, which I totally have ready. If you roll high enough, you get it. If you don't figure it out, then you have to maybe spend a stamp or get an identify spell to figure out more and more of it.
Can you remind me what DC stands for?
Difficulty class, so that's the number you have to reach. So the skill has to get to a certain skill.
Okay. For whether we succeed or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Who wants to experiment with their item? Everybody. Okay, what's she going to do? And what skill are you going to use?
I'm going to use the skill of investigation.
Okay, investigation.
Investigation.
So roll investigation.
16 plus
Nice.
5, which makes it 21. 21.
Okay. So before you don't dare push the button until you sort of investigate a little bit. You get the idea that I talked about the knobs at the end. You realize that once you sort of look at it in a certain way, like it looks very ordinary. First of all, you realize you twist it and the knobs change shape. It looks like these two silver horses on either end. So you just realize, oh, these things rotate, and as you do that, you think it's safe enough, like I don't think it's going to blow up on me, so you do that, and these horses appear on either side, these silvery horses. And I said there's a button on one end. You take a look at the button, you sort of do your investigation, you sort of like smell it, you look at the metal, you feel like, I don't think it's going to be too dangerous. You think it's worth the risk pushing the button, so you feel confident. You're gonna
Pushing
push the
that button.
So you're holding it up, you push the button, and just like nothing happens. And you sort of like are a little bit disappointed. And as you go, like that, the bar doesn't move. It's like, and like you let go of the bar is just suspended there in midair.
Cool.
You sort of grab it, you pull at it, the bar is just hovering there. But your investigation says, what if I hit the button again? You push the button again, and clang, it goes to the ground. You pick it up again, you like hold it up here, push the button, let go of it, and the bar is just there. Like try to pull at it, like, cool. So,
Neat.
you don't know everything about it, but you do know that it's something that's commonly called an immovable rod. So go and write that there. I'll print this out for you later formally, so you don't miss out on this wonderful printed card. So just unfold that card entirely. It's now yours as long as you have it attached to your character sheet or in your folder with your name on it. It is yours, but you got to have it, otherwise you've lost it.
Blocking doors behind you.
So you know it's an immovable rod, and you can use an
Someone's
action to
chasing
press
you.
the button. It takes an action because you have to sort of focus and push it in a certain and hold it for a certain amount of time. And becomes magically fixed in place. But you're not sure how much weight it'll hold, you're not sure if it's got any drawbacks, and all that. That's something that that your investigation did not reveal, because your total was what? Your investigation total was what?
21.
21. Ooh, okay. I'll fill in the card more. So you'll figure out that after you do investigation, and you sort of figure out how to do this, it can hold thousands of pounds of weight. So you're not sure how many thousand, like you can't find enough strength, like all of you pulling together and every heavy thing that you can attach to it, it doesn't move. It's extremely strong.
How would I use this?
You think that somebody strong enough could budge it, but it would take somebody extraordinarily strong to move it.
It'd be like a jack.
Tie 'em up, tie a rope to it, and then we can all...
Okay, that was that.
Yeah.
Who wants to do an experiment next?
I want to investigate this using my medicine.
Okay.
Can I be fancy with how I actually do that? 'Cause
Yeah,
I've got-
so potions, you know from potions that you can take 3 sips of a potion and do a different experiment on each one without diminishing the potion's power.
Oh, because one of the first things I was going to do was actually try and see if I can pull out the fingernail and actually, as a dropper on my
Yeah,
tongue,
okay, good, yeah, sure.
investigate what happens.
Yeah, that's great. So this is a medicine check. All right.
Yes.
So as you do that, you're going to use medicine. So yeah, roll
not the
your
finger.
medicine check.
Oh, gosh.
7.
With a 7. Okay,
Yikes.
so on the potion, so let me just take a pencil and that card. We'll start tracking sips. Okay, so unfortunately with 1 sip, you don't know what it is, but 7? Yeah, you don't even know if medicine is the right thing you should be using. So maybe you should use medicine again because you just got unlucky. Maybe you should try a different skill, but you're unlucky enough that, yeah, you just felt like the drop didn't fall in your tongue just right. You weren't concentrating. It fell at the wrong time, and it
Might
would
just
have
not
it would
be
have an
quite
extremely
enough.
brief, like a sip, a drop like that would have an extremely quick effect on you, and you have to immediately sort of tune into it, thinking of that skill. So if it's medicinal, even if you were focusing on the right thing, you're not sure you rolled well enough. You just had bad luck.
I was going to say, I want to try medicine again. It's my strongest skill. It's kind of all I've got.
You get 1 free move. That's it.
Okay.
Later on, if you come early, you can spend a stamp to do more, and then you'll almost certainly
Alright.
figure it out. But it
Okay.
costs a little something. Or you can just drink it at some point. See what happens. You got to pay something, or get an identify spell done on it. So sometimes wizards have identify spells. Who wants to do an experiment next?
Do you want to find out what your guacamole tastes like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like guacamole, we're different.
Now you don't have to always use your skill. You can always ask somebody to do a skill on your item. By the way, it's just each item can only bear one
Okay.
experiment. But what you going to do
Is
with
the
it?
entire thing consumed in the experiment?
No, this is like a sip. So this thing, it seems to be
okay.
like a potion. You think that if,
Right.
assuming that it runs out eventually, this cream,
Taste it.
you take a little bit of the cream and
I
do
can
something
lick
with
it,
it,
or
you
I
know,
can
on
put it
yourself,
on
on the
the
wall,
wall,
you know,
or-
whatever else, yeah.
or,
And
okay.
what skill do you use to sort of, when it has a very brief effect on whatever you put it on, including yourself or an object, what will you do and what will you assess?
Investigation of +3.
Sure, yeah, investigation, yeah, thinking logically about things like that, sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I roll a d20.
okay,
Do I?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Do I describe what I'm doing to it?
Yes, and describe, like, where do you, assuming the cream has to
Heavy
go on
cream,
something, what do you think it's going to be?
Surely I have like a little minor cut or something, maybe on my arm,
Okay.
or even the shoulder where the
Yeah, you
where
apply to a
the-
wound.
You know, it's not much of a cut, but
Yeah,
it'll
great.
be- It's something. I'll rub it on there and
Sure,
see if
sure.
the cut gets worse or it feels a little bit better.
Yeah, sure, makes sense.
12 and 3 is
Good.
13, 15.
15, you guessed exactly right. It heals that little scratch.
Oh,
like you
cool.
put on there, it's like you wipe it on and it heals. You think this is a very powerful healing salve. It needs to be wiped on.
Mm-hmm.
What was your total? Yeah, so
15.
okay,
I think
15,
that's it.
yep. Okay, got me. 15. So all that you get is a vague clue, but because you picked the exact right thing, this clue is very good that you know that it heals. You don't know how strongly it heals. You don't know if it does anything besides heals damage. You don't know if you can do anything with it besides, you know, wipe it on a wound. But you've got to start. So you do know it's called, I'll send it out in chat. Kyotom's ointment is what it's called.
Jesus.
Kyog. Here, give me the card because actually it's written on the card. So I unfold part of the card, and you're also not sure, you know, how much of this you need to use. So you do think it's got a limited number of like charges, right, before it's all used up.
It just runs out. 'cause it's
But you
spring.
don't,
Sure.
you didn't investigate enough. Now you can still do like little, you know, bits of experiment to sort of find out more if you want. So I'm just going to seal this
But
back up.
Maybe next time.
I
Okay.
just want to say that it's the Keanu guac.
Keanu's ointments.
Extra spicy.
There you go. Keep that, and then as you
Okay.
as you do more, you'll uncover more of it.
Holy shit, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, you can see I got it right when I was
So you
looking at it.
refolded it.
No, he revealed the name of
Oh, but
Yeah.
then refolded it.
Yeah. All right. Who else has got an experiment?
I'm good.
Yeah, I will investigate my bag
Okay.
with perception.
All right. Yep. Use perception. That makes sense. I've got the DC here. Yep. Go for it.
Fuck. All right, no, never mind. That's a 5.
You can see that it's a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a bag. It's
now-
got a 2-inch.
Now, of course,
mouth.
you can use these objects anyway. Like so you just know that because you are doing very tentatively, like you're taking no risks, sort of looking at it, like you look in it, like looks the inside of the bag, it looks very clean, but looks normal. You look at the outside of the bag, you're not noticing any perception gives you any clues what it does. You can't just put it later on. Your experiment could be like, I'm just going to put an object in it, right? That's something that we'll cover that later on. But unfortunately, perception did not give you any clue about this bag that's worth 500 gold pieces. Maybe it's just a designer bag. You don't know. You haven't put anything in it yet.
2-inch wide mouth is really small too.
It's just 2 feet.
Oh,
2
two,
feet.
oh shit,
Oh,
okay.
2 feet wide.
Is it a bag of holding?
I don't know.
Can I reveal?
You say that out loud and it doesn't reply.
Is-
Are you a bag of holding? It doesn't
Is
say
that-
anything.
It's
the
now
length
like a
at about 2 feet?
Yeah, about 2 feet. Yeah, about that.
I dare you to climb
About
inside.
half a meter.
Yeah, I'll
much
just
does
put
it not
you
come back?
in my sack.
I want to see if you actually live inside it.
Okay.
It's like a
And yours is
dimension.
obvious. Everybody knows all healing potions are always very well marked.
Okay.
Okay. There you go. That was
Give me
splitting
this
up the
potion
horde.
into 3.
I didn't give XP for that little bit of fight, by the way. All of you from that last fight that you just had, give yourself 25 experience points.
Some people on this white card here.
And if you didn't get it already, like Gammy did, write down 1 gold bead. The devil sprinkled gold beads around as a little reward for teaching him something. So write down 1 gold bead with a parenthesis 1 GP.
Can I erase all my previous erasing.
No, just well, yeah. You can, just as long as you do
Cross
running
them
total.
out.
Yeah, no, you can erase your old one as long as you have a running total. Just keep a running total that goes up 25.
Yep, I got
So
that.
this gold bead's on top of the ones we got from the
Yes.
devil the first
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got an extra,
And
another gold. It's the same thing. So you can just add the number. You can add to the number that you've already
how
got.
much XP was it? 25?
25.
Mhm.
I got under 50.
Ah,
I thought you would have got more because you defeated your.
I would have thought so.
I'm sorry. Those of you who went down, the devil did not give it to you.
Oh, see.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what I-
okay.
If you went down, so
Yeah.
you two that went down did not get a gold bead.
That's more like.
That makes sense.
But your opponent got it, so it's okay. It
That's
worked
right.
out.
Just checking,
Okay.
So we hold on to these ones for
Yes,
now?
hold on to that. And you must have it in your possession, otherwise your character has lost the item. I do have paper clips, so you can clip it to your character sheet.
Yeah, actually, I might grab a second paper clip.
Mm-hmm. Feel free. All right. Okay. So now you finally have a chance to rest because you got people walking around. You can't do a long rest here. I assume you want to do a long rest. You got people very badly hurt. So where do you do your long rest? Do you go up to the Kobold Jail? Do you go to Jop Jop's secret sanctum? Do you go somewhere else? Discuss.
If we go to the Kobold Jail, or either way, as we come out through the Kobold Jail, I'm getting that remaining, I think it was 20 meters of rope or 20 feet of rope.
Okay.
Yeah.
That- that-
Once
you're-
you're down here, reminds
so before you take off,
me
you're
about
going to agree on
work.
your destination. So discuss before you do anything. If you're still in this cold room, where are you planning on going for your long rest?
Is there only one exit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
back
we're
away.
gonna check.
Back
I
where
wanna
we
go
came.
back
So
to
that's what I'm
the-
saying, as we
check
pass
on
through.
that.
Yeah, but we're not there
I'm
yet.
grabbing that.
You're currently discussing where you're going to go.
I want to go back to that cell where we came in with Torb because I remember that whistling sound as soon came in out as soon as we come in, which to me suggests there was a secret trap door that opened once we opened that. A lot
That's
of
an
air
investigation
came
you
out,
can
so
do.
there must have been a whistling thing that came out from another
Oh.
direction.
I don't remember that, but okay.
The
So
air
to the,
pressure,
co- so to the Kobold
As long as
Jail.
it's warmer.
yeah, the air pressure
Mhm.
displaced, and so something was in one of the jail cells. I bet was a secret door of some sort.
Okay.
So the Kobold Jail.
Kobold jail.
Yeah, I'm happy to go there.
Central.
Okay.
Central location.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
your destination is the Kobold Jail. So you start off in this room that has the mosaics. You go up some ramps, basically, and you're in the room where you first talk to the devil. He says, "Welcome. You are welcome to talk to me anytime. Like we can make a deal. It's a very simple contract." He pulls out paper. He pulls out like a strange-looking pen. He says, "It's very easy. Yes. You did not do very well down there, and you know that I can give you many things. We just need to make an agreement."
What are you offering?
Oh, come and talk to me. I'm not unless you also want to do a group contract. I'm sensing some hesitation among some of you. So, those of you who are interested, and I do not like to have my time wasted. I have a lot of time, but I do not like to have it wasted. So, if you're serious about doing a deal, come on down and see me. But it looks like for right now, you need to sort of make yourself not be dying. Otherwise, you'd be seeing me a little bit too soon, So, off you go. So as you pass through, there's that shaft, that vertical shaft. However, you're taking plenty of time. You're already banged up a bit, so let's just sort of fast forward a bit. You figure a way to boost each other up. You have some pitons, have some ropes, all that stuff. Get each other up there. At least you don't have imps chasing after you, right? So that was one thing that made it quite dodgy going down, is those invisible imps, might be striking. You don't hear the flapping of wings or anything like that. So you work your way up that shaft, and you're in that ice dome. It's just as you left it. The splattered bits, however, of the imps that you destroyed are gone. The chains, if they got sort of pushed around, are all nice in the nice spirals again, so they're all very orderly again if they got moved around. And you can see that the ice is quite thick. You've taken a look around, but you can investigate this room more, but you decide, we just got to get someplace warm. You walk across that brick walkway. Now you're coming across this brick walkway. It basically ends in space. It ends at an iron door. You look around like this door is not attached to anything. You think that, as far as you can tell, if you were able to climb and hang on, look around the iron door, you think you just see nothing but the back of the iron door or what. There's not an invisible, building is connected to, and there's a red mirror above it. So as you approach, you're like, how are we going to get past this? But you see the devil's face appear. As he appears, you hear his voice, and he says, "You can come back. You can come back anytime. Technically, which of you has the hand? You have the hand to get back in. It would be very nice if you use that hand again, because I like following rules." So it opens up because you sort of show the hand and it opens up with the tattooed glyph. They found the mummified body. You're now in that room with the fireplace. Luckily, the chains do not start up again. So those whipping chains that were shredding you before, but the room is as it was before. It seems like objects, if you move some things around on the table as you're investigating it, they all are kind of back in their original places. And as you're in there, it's like, well, what about this trap door? And then click, it opens up. Torg is there, and he's just staring at the body of the mummified body you got. It's like, Eberk, why? Why are you here? Why were you going up the chimney? Why didn't you rescue me? Where were you going, Eberk? Why did you have the chaos shards? I don't understand. And he's just saying this over and over again. He pays almost no attention to you. But as you're sort of standing there, he's sort of trying with the trapdoor. He gets up. He's wiping his eyes, and there are some controls. Underneath the fireplace that has those different bricks and things. He pushes at some of the bricks. You didn't realize the mechanism. It's some sort of combination. That click, it opens up that trap door. And you can see it's a pretty easy sequence of bricks that if you push them, it unlatches the trap door. Warm air, you can feel, even it's open a little bit, like this bitter cold been feeling for hours now. You're able to boost each other up. It's about 10 feet up, and now you're in the Cobalt jail, safe and sound. He is still down there. So you're in the Cobalt jail as you want, and this is where you do a long rest. Okay, now don't do your long rest business yet, because we have a few little things when we do this. First of all, what time pressure are you under? There's no, the villages are constantly being raided, but aside from that, there's nothing that's like urging you, like, okay, do you want to give up your long rest for some urgent reason? You can't really think of one, besides it's another day that, the villages are being raided. But you can't do anything if you're nearly dead. So I think that's probably the right thing. You start resting, and as you do something to relax. You each have a chance to talk to somebody else, or talk to, a follower or a NPC that you have around with you. Who has a follower? Do any of you have a follower at this moment? No, none of you have any pets or followers or anything.
Oh, no, it's Chop my pet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So Chop, of course. Yeah, Chop is in fact, yes. I actually have that written down. So Chop has been captive, and
This whole time?
She slipped out. She was able to slip out of her cuffs. You maybe put the manacles back on, but she slipped out of the manacles very easily last time. She tried to make a leg for it, but the door, shut. You caught her and stopped her from escaping.
You roped her up.
She's back. Goes, yeah, well, this has been great. I think you should just let me go and I should just get back to work. It's like, oh, it's nice and warm. It's now that we're out of hell. Yeah, come on, but can you just let me free? I mean, yes, I wouldn't worry about me. Just let me keep on just doing what I'm doing. So she's like, come on, just let me free. So she wants to be set free. Now, in this upcoming moves and investigations, you can say like, no, we're going to either convince her to stay, make her want to stay because she definitely wants to leave, or figure out a way to bind her up in a way that she can't escape. You can basically keep her a captive against her will and drag her from room to room, but she definitely wants to go. That might be something that we'll figure out maybe in retrospect, depending on what you do. So maybe over the long rest that'll affect. But for now, she is with you. You can talk to her if you want to. None of this will affect the game. This is more for color. Each of you, do you have a conversation that you'd like to have with another player or with Chop? But you won't find out anything, so you might as well talk to each other.
I'm curious about your rod and how we can utilise it.
I give it to you to play with for a while. I don't give a crap about it too much.
Cool,
How
yeah.
we can utilise it for safety, combat, all sorts of things. So
Right, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll ask you a little while before you rest, and now we'll get to the next level of sophistication, long rest, like what you do to make yourself extra safe. You're in that room, there's the tunnel to the south. There's a hole in the bricks to the south. That's where the kobolds came and went. There's the trap door down there that swings up that let you down. Maybe you start thinking about ways you can use it. So that's good.
okay.
What is a conversation somebody else has with somebody else?
Well, I'm going to ask Fogrim. Obviously, you're a hill dwarf like me. Just going, do we have any people in common? Because we've been travelling 3-4 days now together.
Yeah, do some
I
genealogy.
recognise that you're a dwarf. I'm a dwarf. Do we
You're
know
both
any
dwarves, I
people
believe.
in
Yeah.
common, or is
Do all
that
dwarves
just?
know each other?
Do you have a same?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Like,
relative in
Oh,
common.
they're very big into genealogy.
there you go.
I don't know.
Yeah. You don't have to specify, but I like that idea.
But just that we're just going to
Yeah.
chat, and
Discuss
that's
it.
what
Yeah,
I'm
just-
going to
start
sort
going
of
through
go.
various family trees, and you
Yeah.
can decide amongst yourselves right now if you want to, but also maybe offline or whatever else. You can say, like, oh, we did discover that we're related. We have some relative in common. I like that. Great. Okay, a little family chat between the dwarves. Somebody else. What's something else that somebody talks to somebody else about?
I want to talk to Chop.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just going to get out my drugs that I've been storing for so long. I'm like, Job, you and me have been through hell. Do you want to sit down and have a blunt together?
Oh man, normally I was like, I'm kind of used to all those things, but I could use a little something. That'd be really nice. Now, what you could do is that, as it is, it's just a little chat, right? Mm-hmm. So you're trying to be nice to her. You can't get information out of her unless you spend time on it. But it's a nice, wonderful thing. Yeah,
I'm just bonding with.
Yeah, bonding with her. That's great. Yeah, a little chat with Job, and she'll share some.
Just passing a blunt back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just sort of smoke a blunt together. And she's starting to loosen up a little bit, and you think you could probably get somewhere with her. She's definitely willing to talk. You're not sure what her attitude is. She seems to be hiding her emotions quite a bit. So it'll take some work to kind of get under that.
Yeah.
All right, talking to Job. All right. So, all right, but I really think you should just let me free. It's like.
Do you have the munchies?
Yeah, do you have any rations? That'd be good, man.
Yeah, I think I do.
Who else?
Eat everybody's rations.
You don't have to, but if there's
Can't think of
a
anything.
conversation, anything you want to ask or say to some other character?
And lots of stuff if you.
What do you think? Anything? If somebody hasn't spoken yet?
No, I don't have a conversation I can think of.
No? All right.
Can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm too tired. I think my character might be preferring to be a half like a roguish, keep to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk when necessary, but nothing in particular.
Toast some marshmallows.
All right. So as that time passes, I'm going to ask, what do you think? Everybody name one. Anything significant about your character, hopefully just one thing so it doesn't take up too much time, do you think makes you more safe where you're resting? It might be an object that you use, it might be a spell that you cast. There's various things that you can learn spells that set off alarms or bar doors or objects that do the same thing. You might remind me that you're an elf and therefore you don't sleep. That means you can use your passive perception while you're there. That might count something. And it'll add to a roll that I take which tracks whether you get attacked in the night.
Detect good or evil.
Ah, okay, so you can cast that. Yeah, and you have a spell slot for it. You'll get
Oh,
it
no,
back.
I don't have a spell slot for it.
I was going to say, I'm out of
I
spell
know.
slots too,
Yeah,
and
we
I have
used them all
protection
up.
from
Oh,
evil.
okay.
Good.
All right, that would be good, but yeah, protection from evil, detect good and evil. Unfortunately not.
I want to use the bar to create a trip hazard for anything coming towards
Okay.
us. And
Yeah.
down
Yeah,
one
I've given
passage
to him to have a go
Okay.
and play with.
It seems like, so there's the trapdoor coming up or the tunnel from the south
The
coming
tunnel.
in.
The tunnel.
Okay, all right, I like that. So you put that in a way that maybe using a bit of stealth trying to hide it so someone will trip as they come in.
Can I pray to He-Man for safety?
Sure, I like that. I like the color of that, certainly. your deity He-Man.
Yeah. I'll
Go-
pray
roll-
to He-Man for safety.
Roll religion.
Okay.
Hey!
Yeah, well, I don't know what my religion score is. 20.
Nice. I'd say that whether, you feel a connection with He-Man that you never felt before. You've got some stories to tell. You feel like He-Man sort of,
Fuck yeah,
sharing some
He-Man.
admiration for you. It's like, you feel like a little bit more alert. Okay, that's probably worth something. I'll reveal the total at the end. What's your kind of average preparation? Anything that Gammy does or has that makes
I have
you
a
more
dark
ready?
set of common clothes, including a hood. So maybe
Ah.
I can just wear that and it'll just
Be warm and
Hidden.
slightly hidden.
Hide yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this also could be if a fight breaks out, it might be that you might start off, stealthy,
With initiative,
which
yeah.
might be good for the fight. So if a fight breaks out, you might be able to get the jump on whoever's attacking. So. Okay, I like that.
Dark vision, don't sleep because I'm an elf.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and
not
also
sleeping, that definitely worth something.
I want to cast my divination school so I get my divination points back.
I think that's when you wake up.
Okay, and
It doesn't happen at the beginning of the day.
if I can still cast one cantrip, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Mold earth to the trip hazard in the hallway. So if he trips, it immediately goes to rough hazard terrain, and they
that's
just
great.
can't really
Okay,
move as
cool.
quickly.
I like that a lot. All right.
Yep.
I'm just, we broke out of a jail cell. I'm going to
Yeah.
find myself back into one of the cells that still closes. I'm just going to close myself in.
Yeah, or maybe suggest that everybody do you want to have everybody stay together? It's always good to sort of
Oh,
be
okay.
close together. Yeah,
I will
you find a jail cell.
So
Big-
selfish.
Yeah.
man.
Jeez.
Make the suggestion, rather than us sort of camp out in the middle, we can give
Nice.
ourselves back into one of the cells, but obviously we can control.
Okay. Well, good. You've all thought some things. So I'd say that the average contribution for all that is I'm going to add one to this roll. Thanks to all of your contributions, I'm going to add one to this roll because the higher the roll, the less chance you'll get any trouble. And of course, I won't. I might tell you right away if you're attacked. It could be that I've rolled high enough for something to start following you, or sneak into one of your bags, or learn about you and decide when to sort of strike at the same time.
If that goblin comes back again. That's when you're
Okay.
No, it's in ice.
Yeah.
Steal the rest of my shit.
Okay. Very good. Those of you who wear heavy armor, by the way, eventually you'll want to decide whether you take your armor off during sleep, because you can't sleep properly with heavy armor, heavy or medium armor on. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. So that's why higher level. Just FYI. Nothing happens to you in the night, so you wake up fine. After your long rest is done, a couple things happen. For one thing is you roll your divination. That's great.
Yep.
All of your damage is healed, so you take away all of your damage. You're at maximum hit points. You also get one hit die.
Yes.
So you gain one hit
That's
die
what I
up
keep
to your
taking out my-
up to your maximum, right?
Rubber
So
ball.
because you get basically half, but you rounding down, but you always get at least one. So you're level 2, therefore you get one hit die. Once you're level 4, you'll start getting 2 hit dice every time you roll.
And all our health is back.
Yes, all of your damage is gone. All of your hit points are back to maximum.
And our spell slots
And your spell
Fresh.
slots recharge. Now is when you commit to which spells you prepare. So we want to tighten things up. That again, definitely keep track of your spell slots if you're a spellcaster, and ask me questions. But I think you're pretty much across it. Do you think you know how to designate that? Your spell slots. And all
Yeah,
that? Your arcane recovery. Remember,
Oh,
erase
yeah.
that check mark. It's on the front of your sheet because a long rest resets your arcane recovery. You can use that during a short rest to get an extra spell slot or two. And you also have to prepare a certain number of spells. You know what your limit to prepare.
Yeah.
If you're not sure, ask me later. But
Yeah, I think
you
it's-
have a maximum number. You sort of tick those boxes in that list of what do you want to have today. You know that after the investigation is done, which will be the beginning of the day, you'll be going after goblins. So today is going to be chasing the goblins down. That's the next arc that you're getting into. So it'll be outside. You think you'll be going some distance. You'll be going through different land, and you have an idea what goblins are like. You've seen them, and you've actually, so one of you has fought a goblin.
Fort.
Can't a goblin have its way with you?
Proper
So
fighting.
you must commit to that.
Horizontal fighting.
And just, it's best to do now, sort of almost like a combat sort of thing, where you get inspiration from your deity or a flash of inspiration, so you have to kind of decide on the spot what you're going to do. You must also eat and drink. So you are able to get, you can just go to the kobold area and refill your water skins. So your water skins are filled, however many water skins you have, they're all filled, and you're just able to drink with bubblers. So don't worry about drink, but you do have to use one of your rations. You can also just buy a ration, but that's just purchasing stuff. So for now, just erase the ration that you have. Hopefully, you've got one. If you don't borrow it from somebody, and they can owe you, or you can owe them. Everybody's had a ration. Make sure you update that.
8.
Okay. Disease. None of you are diseased, I can report. This is where I would reveal that some of you might have caught a disease during your last adventure, but you are fine.
Goblin.
Damn the goblins.
Which of you were wearing your Chaos Shard openly and out and visible during some action sequence that
I
happened?
think I had mine. I think I
I've
was
not
wearing
taken mine off.
Yeah, if it's written on your sheet and doesn't say in pocket or in backpack, it means that you've been wearing it openly.
Yeah.
That's the default. Those of you who did have that, what emotion is your shard absorbing, and when did you experience that emotion? So during the time in the last day, when you were wearing it, from the time you ripened it first in the mushroom cave, have you felt that emotion strongly?
Well, I think mine was like combat exuberance, and we've been fighting a lot, so I think that it's
Yeah,
just
as that was written down, I believe it was something like that.
re-upping the same emotion, I suppose.
Yeah. So specifically, what do you have? I think you have another word for it. Like, what's the word for?
I think it was exuberance.
Yeah, I can look that up here. No, I don't think I wrote it down. Yeah. So that's fine. Just make sure you write that down somewhere because it's a very specific emotion. If it's not written next to the shard, write down the emotion
So if
now.
we-
So just it's got another level of brightness.
Yes,
added
so
to it.
I agree that you must have felt exuberant. You have some good combat, so put another tick next to it. So it's glowing a little brighter than it was yesterday, and it got brighter during that moment of exuberance in combat. That shard is getting more powerful. You know, it's worth more.
So just +1 to the brightness.
Yeah, just put another tick next to it. You can either do an increment the number or just put tick marks next to it.
And so if we didn't feel that same feeling, does it lose anything or just
It
stay
doesn't
where it
lose
was?
anything, just doesn't give. So what is your emotion?
I had wonderment.
Well, is there anything from the time that you that you were first sat down in that mushroom cave and had those memories that you felt wonderment?
I don't think so.
Yeah, and also it could be like you sort of kept a lid on it because you didn't want the shard to go anymore, like you might have had a choice.
I think at the moment Shmarag's just a bit more like, a bit sort of nonplussed and just kind of taking everything in, going, okay, so this is what
Okay.
adventuring life is like when you're not part of a soldier army kind of thing, and you're going with a new band and just trying to.
Okay, all right. So your shard is staying at the level that it was at.
Yeah.
All right. Who else was wearing a shard that felt the emotion?
I apparently am.
Okay.
Chaos shot on neck, glowing red anger.
Anger. So is there a time that you felt anger during the last adventure since you got out of the Mushroom Cave? All the things you've done since then.
I don't think so. No, well,
You've been
maybe
pretty
when the
sad
rock
about
landed
them.
on my shoulder.
When what?
Maybe when the big rock landed on my shoulder.
Sure. Did that make you angry?
I mean, probably would.
Well, you killed your opponent, so you must have,
Yeah.
must have had a bit of anger there.
That's true. You killed him in revenge.
I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
I killed
So now's your
myself.
choice. If as a character you've like indulged in that anger and you really connected with it, then the shard glows more. If you said I kept a lid on my anger, or I'm not the type to get angry, then it doesn't glow more. Which do you want it to do?
Maybe can it glow a little bit?
Nope. So it'll glow a little bit more or not.
Okay, glow a little bit more. I
Okay,
felt a bit of
you felt
when
anger,
I wouldn't
yeah.
hit my shoulder, but
Yeah, you felt angry, so go and put another tick mark next to it. So you should already probably have a couple tick marks next to it already
guess I do.
from when you came out there, but just add another hash or tick mark next to it.
Yeah, fear, arrow through my throat, falling towards the grave again.
Yeah, right, of course. That's great. So yes, go ahead and add another tick to that. You definitely felt fear in the course of the last day. I would agree with that. I believe that story. Okay, everybody done their spell switching, committing that?
Yeah.
Move on?
I found a sick new spell. Inflict wounds.
Woo!
That sounds awesome. D&D Beyond is awesome for looking at fun stuff to use.
Inflict wounds.
Speaking
is a
directly
nice
to the
wicked
camera.
one.
Make a melee spell attack against a creature you can reach, and I can whack shit with my thing.
Right
On hit,
on.
the target takes 3d10 necrotic damage.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
3d10's good.
I know.
Touching something's face and watching it.
Do you have to see the creature, or just so you can
No,
reach it?
I think it's touch.
That touch with weapon, I think.
If it's
Melee.
inflict wound.
Well, I'm guessing I have to hit
Okay.
on a hit.
On a
Take your
Yeah.
chips.
So I have to be able to
back.
reach it.
Because I was thinking about, again, those ones that we couldn't see.
Yeah, but I have to whack it with my axe to do the damage.
Is it whack or is it just touch? Like, do you have to
Like-
hit it or
It said
can you
on,
just
on,
go?
it said
touch?
on melee hit.
Oh, so you have to do the melee
So I have
damage.
to whack it and then it does 3d10 damage. That's pretty
Okay.
cool.
So you'd have to actually do damage. And
I was just wondering if we could sneak up behind something and just touch something on the back of its neck and
Look,
just
3d10 is better than 1d8, so
yeah,
Yeah.
a bit more warmth to you.
hit it very hard.
Okay, I'm going to write down a few things that after the break, I think we have. Now, how are you feeling about liking more action or more investigation? What's the mix? We're gonna have some investigation, some action. I can tilt it one way or the other. It might depend whether you pick one or two things to check out. So think about that. Here's some ideas, but you can investigate whatever you like. These are all things you could investigate. Now, so why do you make moves, right? You can find allies to augment your power, so you can convert things into allies. You can get clues for where to go. Where to get more items, get more challenges, and more discoveries. So investigation can point you in new directions. You also have the option to change the world in some way, change the way an NPC feels about you. You could decide to keep Jop captive or change your attitude is one example. You can explore the world a little bit, like you can decide as a group or as an individual or as a pair, chances are we'll have room for one or two investigations, and so some of you might group up on all this. You might do something collectively that sort of, does something in the world or goes somewhere, check something out. And I'm just going to suggest a few things, but you can come up with something completely different as you discuss it during the break. So one thing is Renish. You could try to figure out more about what the Red's agenda is up to, maybe what they do with the shards or whatever else they're up to. You could explore the fireplace room. So there's other objects that you had to rush out of there. So you could find out more about specifically what are the Reds doing in that room, like what are all the objects and purpose of that room there. You could do a deal with the devil. Now, these are all things that you can come early as well and do something just one-on-one. You can spend a stamp if you come early. All these things are something you can do a little bit of advancement on, but it might be more fun to get into more depth if you do it collectively here at the table. And it doesn't cost you a stamp. You get it for free. So you do a deal with the devil. So it's a give and take. What do you want?
About that in English?
What?
Isn't there an expression about that in English?
Sure is. You can explore the Torg mystery. in that Torg is talking about Eberk and asking a lot of questions about why Eberk was doing that. It seems like that's really obsessed Torg. You might discover something interesting, and maybe you'll even change Torg's attitude if you help him get those answers. Jop Jop. So Jop Jop either captive, like a way to keep her captive and drag her around safely because she escaped from those manacles last time quite easily, or her attitude change to try to convince her to not be hostile to you, to instead be indifferent towards you and be willing to listen to reason of why she should follow you around, or change what she does. Like her job right now is to go right back to what she was doing. She's the boss, so she and the kobolds are going to go right back to doing what they're doing. So you can kind of change her orders, about what the kobolds are doing in that room. Particularly from the kobolds is sort of the more details about the kobolds' operation, or mining, which is mining, or something more about the Shriners. The Shriners are in charge. So find out more about what is this whole mining operation and all that, and try to maybe change their attitude about serving that operation. So some things are investigation, some things are actions that you take. Think about those. But this is a great time for a break anyway, and in the next 5 minutes you can have that conversation, or we can resume this conversation when you come back. Remember, when you roll, you're going to roll a die. The more facts that you know about that thing, you'll get bonuses. So that might steer you. Like your chances for success are a little bit higher if you already know quite a bit about that, because I give you more beads, that have adding facts there. Also, there might be skills. They say, I think this skill that I have, or this object or this spell, is really going to be a great way to get an advantage or get an edge on this thing as well. And that is, or something that's not on this list. I think now, do you want to, while you talk, to say we definitely want to do two different things, and we're willing to not have as much action, or we'll do a little bit more action and fun, and just one of these things. So discuss that as well. All right, and that'll be it for the session, and then it'll be off to the goblins, or chasing the goblins over land. So let's talk about that. Take a break, please. Yes. It's time to decide on what to focus on. So take your chips, and we want to have one of these lines with 2 chips and one of these lines with 3 chips. So you want to focus on 2 different things you want to do, or if there's something else that 2 or 3 people are enthusiastic about, I can add to this list. Please let me know. But just to overview again for those just coming back from the break, so this is investigating mysteries is one main thing, but also you can change the world. So it's just making a move of investigation, and involves using your skills and the knowledge that you have, maybe little items and spells to get the best roll possible. The higher you roll, the more impact you have on that part of the world, or pursuing that goal, or the more things you find out in that investigation. And this is also a module that you can get from Patreon. You can download materials if you're at Patreon, so you can download my materials if you ever want to use this yourself as a DM. It's a nice formulaic way to get a lot of people involved using what their characters are good at to unlock mysteries in a methodical way, which I think works pretty well. So talk about what you want to do, and I'll sort of steer you to a point of decision.
Well, we know what the silvers do with the shards, so I'd like to know what the reds do with the shards.
Yeah, so just move your chip next to that one. I mean, you can move. It's not permanent, but you can start to move chips around to make votes and things. And you'll be the ones actually doing the investigation. You can swap later on, but
Which one's the investigate the room?
this would be the hidden features at the very top. The red room's hidden features.
Yeah, so if we...
And again, it's fine to be solo on something, so that eventually you consolidate it down.
I know. I just
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't stop.
If you had to pick the thing you're most interested, start off with what you're most interested in, then try to
Would
jockey around.
the Torg mystery also
Against
include
the,
Eberk?
Yes.
Something
Right.
Not sold on anything. I'm happy to move. Just
Yeah, sure.
That's the second one I'm interested in. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to swap over to that and find out why he's going up the chimney.
Let's start with that one with drop drop, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they almost feed into each other, don't they?
Well, they will lead back to each other.
So, Anthony, what are you most interested in out of this list? That could be something
That's
that's...
really, really upside down, but I don't particularly mind. The chimney, maybe? Okay, it's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not a double deal, because I think
Yeah,
I think
the
it's
chimney,
gonna
the
blow
hidden
it all.
features of the red rooms, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like that? Okay. All right, very good. The interesting thing is that the Torg mystery and the hidden features of this room are related, I can reveal. So we're going to sort of do that together. And what I'll do is I'll move it here, but I guarantee that the Torg mystery, you're going to, depending on your role, you'll focus on maybe there's something hidden in this room that will tell you more about the mystery of Torg. So we'll do that.
Cool.
Now, good job. Now, this is what you're collectively interested in. When you roll, you'll both be rolling the same skill, so you have to pick a skill you have in common to do that investigation, but that's fine. Let's stick with what you're most interested in. I think is good. But we have a group of 2 and a group of 3. Okay. Let me boot that up mentally. Yeah, great. Great, and there's maybe a little bit of even between these because Torg is a red. Okay, so we'll be focusing a lot on the reds here. You can do them in either order. So you can, because maybe what you discover in one might feed into the other. So, each of you will be kind of splitting up a little bit and moving around as you do this. You won't be in too much danger. I know splitting the party is usually a bad idea, but it's okay to somewhat split the party. It's just that you'll get the answers to one before you get the answers to the other. So which one do you want to go first, or just basically which people want to do their move first?
You guys have more. I'm happy if you
Let's go
go first.
Let's go find out why that room's whistling.
Okay, yes. So yeah, and so you 3 people in your own words, what's the answer? What's the question that you most want to answer? Just if you were to state the question, I'll sort of interpolate amongst your 3 questions. Yours is, what's up with that whistling? What's another question that you have?
Who is Eberk to Torg, to the Reds, to this room?
Yeah.
So I know that says Torg mystery, but who is Eberk to Torg?
Yes. Okay. Great. And who's the third one that's investigating? Yes. Is there a question that you have specifically? Like, what's the question you most want to answer?
What's in the chimney?
Right. Great.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
Good.
There's a lead somewhere, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So we've got that. Next is a little brief moment. I was going to set a timer. And until this timer runs out, you're going to volunteer facts that you already know about the situation. And we've done this before. Facts you already know about the situation that give you beads. And also, after a couple minutes of that, I'll turn to you doing a die roll, which then I'll talk and reveal more things. So let me just get right on it. So mentally boot up. As you say things, remember, anything you say, I've got to pause and write it down. So only say it if you think it's got a chance of being relevant. If you have a hypothesis, feel free to mention. I'll write it down, and you'll find out if it's true or false. But you have a limited amount of time. Starting now, of course, the people whose beads who are here have the floor, but anybody can talk.
Torg's friend was trying to escape out the chimney, via the chimney.
Yep. Okay. Great.
Which leads me to believe that the whistling sound and the chimney are connected.
Well, Torg and Eberg were part of the Red organisation because
That's
Eberg
right.
had the stamp, and Torg
Okay.
was saying, join us.
Okay.
Torg was also really upset and distressed that we were going in to the room because he didn't know what was going on with Eberg.
Yeah. Yes. That's right.
So found out.
Also, Ebert could have left any time due to his mark on his hand, but he chose not to, which suggests that there must have been a very good reason for him to rather to crawl up a chimney than go out the other way. So why the hell did he go up the chimney?
Okay. Interesting.
What were you guys finding out before we started playing? Something about Torg being there for quite some time.
Yeah, so this was your
Yeah.
thing, so you shared this one.
Yeah, so basically, the Reds were there for ages. I was still on a timer. I'm not sure I should be explaining this.
Yeah, but Torg was involved in that somehow, I remember.
Yeah, he was a foot soldier for the Reds who used to basically have a tower there that got knocked down and wars and stuff, and then
Okay. Good.
And
We can just touch on it. So if it's relevant,
very long.
I'll recap more of it. That's good.
One thing that might be relevant is that puzzle room, that this red room puzzle room, is an rite of initiation or initiation. I've written initiation right, but it was part of the initiation with being part of the Reds.
And he keeps on marching around the room, saluting at the red things, which I'm assuming is saluting at the devil, potentially, or one of the Reds on the interior. But since the devil was, part of the red
Okay.
thing.
Okay, that's probably enough time because we won't have time for that. So unless somebody's really itching to say something you think is super important, we'll stop there so we can save our time for revelations. Okay. So let me tell you what of all the things you said are true and super relevant, and start with those. So one, the fact that Eberk was in the chimney and that's related to the whistling sound. If you pursue that, you will find that the chimney and the whistling sound are related, because you realize that they're actually lined up once you sort of compare and measure. It's like, wait a minute, this chimney that we revealed that the body was in is right underneath the part of the wall that makes the whistling sound.
Mm-hmm.
Torg and Eberk were in the Red organization. That's very important to this, to realize and figure out and reveal what they were doing there. Very good that you revealed Eberk could have left through the iron door that went deeper into hell because he had the right glyph for it, but he did not go to escape whatever he was trying to escape. He went up the chimney instead. That's very relevant. And that this room and the rooms below seem something to do with initiating people into the Reds. That is very relevant. These things are relevant, but now that we're getting to a higher level, they're true, but they're not relevant enough to get you a point, right? But still, they might be relevant for a different mystery, but not this one. That Torg's extremely upset. That's very true. This is a very upsetting thing, but I think the upsetness is going to be covered quite well by the other things that we'll talk about. So I don't need to give you an extra point because those things collectively are very upsetting, but it is true. Torg was here a very long time ago in the Red Tower. It is true. The timeline doesn't have a direct impact on discovering this, though it's nice to know. True just doesn't quite get there to the relevant thing. And then he's marching around and saluting. So what you've done, you've made a supposition where he's marching around, he's saluting and maybe communicating with the Reds, was the last thing that I wrote down, whether it's the devil or the Reds. That's a hypothesis, which at the very least you get to confirm like that's actually true. When he's saluting to these red mirror fragments, it is true that he's trying to communicate with some sort of red authority that is watching him. So that's true. It's not super relevant right here. Though, oh man, I wish I'd give you even more. I think because those three things are all almost relevant, I'm going to give you a fifth point just kind of collectively, just little bits and pieces. That's the most you can get. So you've done very well with all the different information. Mm-hmm. Now, the three of you have to pick one skill that you all have that all of you are going to roll for that skill. And if you really care about this, you'll make a sacrifice of some sort. You'll give up a spell slot, or you'll give up an item that's worth something that's going to be destroyed or permanently given over as a result, and then you personally will roll advantage if you do that. You even give up some hit points. You can say, like, I'm willing to take some risk and drain my life a bit.
Oh. Cheers, man.
So you're willing to lose, I think, like 3 hit points or so. If you're willing to lose 3 hit points, that also could be a sacrifice and give you advantage on this roll. So pick quickly because we're still running low on time.
Yeah, good, because I'm getting
My is
0.
My
I had it
insight's
for half the
plus
time.
3.
Investigation? No.
And of course, the skill that you pick, matters as much as the highest point. So try to pick quickly because we're running out of time for the revelation
History?
part.
No, I'm bad on history. That's right.
Right, and we'll take the highest of the 3, right? So it's going to take the
I was going to
highest
say,
of all
I don't think there's one that's all 3 of us, so
No.
2 out of 3 will
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. What do you reckon? You choose.
Oh, look, the best one that's helpful here is a plus 3. So whether it's insight or perception.
I have +5 deception, and you've seen it, so.
perception.
Oh,
Perception might be the
perception,
best,
right.
because insight's looking into
I only have
yourself.
0. So
Insight's a bit more like the common sensey stuff, so let's see,
Yeah, insight is more so
But I
almost
have
entirely
an
come from
insight.
Torg, and maybe by talking to what Jop and the kobolds know, you're reading people's emotions and faces and deceptive
Wow.
and truthfulness. So it'd be a lot would come from Torg, and maybe the devil. I'll reveal things based on this.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it just gives you a different kind of information, more about what people are thinking and their intentions are. Perception is more about physical details.
Perception.
physical details.
Yeah, perception. Do you want to do perception, Matt?
Sure. I only
Okay.
have 0, but go ahead.
Before you roll, is there anybody making a sacrifice? You're giving up an item or a level 1 spell slot. And we can interpret this very loosely. Just think creatively, and you'll roll with advantage, or give up a few hit points. You're willing to get hurt in the process of it, then you'll roll with advantage.
I'm willing to give up 2 hit points.
Okay, it'll have to be 3 hit points, I'm afraid.
I'm not willing to do that.
Can I give up some of those gold beads?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so if you're willing to sort of give back one of the gold beads.
Yep.
So 1 gold piece worth of gold beads.
Yep.
Okay, so you'll roll with advantage. No other sacrifice. So you.
I'm just wondering, can I quickly do the hand tattoo and then give up the hand that was Ibram's?
I'll work that in if it's part of success. So if you roll really well, then you'll figure out how to do that properly. Is doing the
Okay.
hand tattoo. But
I'll do that later.
right now you're focusing just on that.
Do that later. Okay. Cheers.
Okay. Right. So now all of you, you're going to always add. So you're going to add roll perception. Add 5 to your perception roll. Hang on, let me figure out what the DC is. And then you're rolling with advantage. So remember, roll your perception, add the 5 because all the facts you have. Let me look up this. This mystery is kind of like a level 2 mystery, so you're not really shooting too far above that. So I've got that. All right. So to start getting information, your DC is going to be 19 to get information. If you get higher, you get more information. If you go too low, you get yourself in trouble instead of getting information. So hopefully one of you get a 19.
Okay.
All right, so everybody roll.
Us included, or just so I
No, those 3 investigating. Sorry about that.
This is the 20,
Hang
yeah.
hang on.
14.
Oh, somebody got a good roll.
Is that a
No,
9?
it's
That's a 9.
That's a
Yeah.
9.
18.
All right, hand side.
17.
Oh, 18.
Did not get 9. I only got 9.
Okay, let me check that. Okay, so you'll get some information and some trouble. So you get into some trouble as you do this.
Here we go.
You are so there's only one way through this, and that's to start crawling into that chimney, like up and down in the chimney itself, right? So collectively you decide, like, okay, you can tell that he's really the ghost is really obsessed with the chimney itself. So you sort of start breaking down through that wall. You hit with tools the whistling part of the wall up in the jail, and some of you also are crawling up from underneath the chimney to see how they connect. You realize they connect to each other. You go up the chimney from the bottom part. It goes up. It's joined by another chimney sort of at an angle. If you drop down from that chimney, you realize that you're standing behind what is a covered up fireplace. The jail has another fireplace that gets uncovered. It's a regular looking fireplace. The two fireplaces are stacked up one above the other, and one chimney sort of feeds into the other. You can't keep going up that chimney because there's a lot of bars that are right there. And the strange thing is that before you break it down, you notice that there's a couple eye holes that are inside the bricks, like the bricks that are looking into the jail. As you sort of assemble the pieces later on, you realize that somebody could stand inside the chimney over the upper fireplace and look through these two cleverly concealed eye hole to spy on this hole, to look into this particular room.
This red room.
Yeah, into the jail room. Mm-hmm. So you've got like a 2 stacks in the what you call the initiation room, the one with all the chains. That's the fireplace that got revealed. The chimney going up from there connects to the chimney of another fireplace that is in the jail. That's what you uncover. So whatever is happening with this, the 2 chimneys are connected that you could possibly crawl through. The problem is, as you crawl through, you disturb some sort of evil spirits that are left behind, or to get into some trouble. So we'll do that before we reveal yet more information. But as this happens, Tor's like, what did you find? And as you're connecting up, you say, well, you realize, like, well, technically, you're going to be able to reveal that whoever was crawling up the chimney below, like Eberk, might have been trying to make it to this junction point to come down into where the walled-off fireplace was. And Torg said, that fireplace wasn't walled off when I was alive. So, as you're sort of putting the stuff together, you've disturbed some old evil spirits here in there, and the 3 of you are going to have the equivalent of a quick combat.
Cool.
So, let me figure out what is going on with these here spirits. What have we got?
Instead of a dot.
Ah, okay. So, all of you are sort of trying, like, you realize you kind of have to link hands at some point to explore this chimney. So all of you at one point are kind of in this chimney at the bottom or the middle or the top, and you're sort of like making a human chain to try to sort of explore, and you've established this. Then you realize the bricks are starting to slide in and out and threatening to crush you. You'll be doing an intelligence saving throw
Oh, shit.
to figure out the pattern and evade where the bricks aren't before you can escape. We are going to have the 3 of you. There are 5 chips to mix up here. So the 3 of you divide 5 chips, knowing that you're going to have an intelligence saving throw to try to avoid this danger.
Oh, my intelligence is crap.
All right, do it quick.
3 intelligence.
Do it quick, do it quick.
So one token for
Yeah,
you?
sure.
I'll take yours. How good's your intelligence?
None. My intelligence
I'll take
saving
it.
is nothing.
Yeah.
I got
Okay.
+5 on intelligence.
Oh,
so-
and unless somebody is very near death, they have to take at least one chip.
That's what I
Sorry,
thought.
man.
No,
Okay.
that's what I thought.
If you're near death, it's okay, but otherwise, no. All right. So we're going to go around. Odd is from that direction. So starting with you, what's something what's a skill you can use that you think will help you evade these bricks, like help to diminish the danger? And intelligence will be your saving throw, but you can take any action, any physical action, any skill that you think will dispatch the danger.
I'm apparently nimble.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm halfling nimbleness, moving through the space of a creature.
Oh, I like
is
that.
of a size larger than yours. Which
Okay, that's good. Let's
I don't know
say,
what that
why don't we
means,
use your acrobatics skill as sort of as a
Okay.
proxy for that? So it's not strictly acrobatics, it just means you're proficient at being nimble. It's based on dexterity. Okay.
Okay.
So roll acrobatics. Now remember, for all these rolls,
Acrobatics.
before we start this little combat
Oh.
here, this little
Plus
danger
5.
sequence, you can again make a sacrifice. Will give you advantage on all the attacking rolls that you make. So this will probably be just could be a couple rounds. It could be longer. You'll keep having advantage against an object or a spell slot that you use. So before your first roll, you can establish that. So is there anything that you want to sacrifice to have advantage in all of your rolls as you
Yep.
attack these things?
I got a holy symbol, and I'm going to say it's the holy symbol of He-Man, and
Okay, you're gonna wedge it in there. All right, so you'll scratch that off. You'll have advantage in all of your rolls. But first, let's go with you, Gammy.
I can't think of anything.
Okay, so Gammy, roll acrobatics.
Just roll acrobatics. 17.
Okay, with a
Plus-
17.
Plus 5.
Plus the 5?
Yep.
Okay, so what's that? 22.
22. You do so well that you're able to neutralize a couple of the bricks. So you're able to sort of lead this group for a little bit and get the bricks to come towards you because they seem to be sensing where you're at. But you're so nimble, they're able to push 2 chips into the middle. So you've got your chip. You got 3 chips there. Push any 2 chips into the middle. You've removed the danger from those bricks due to your extreme nimbleness.
Any 2 chips in the middle like these two?
Yep. Yeah, into the very middle.
Oh. Just a minute.
Take them out. They-
Exactly.
Oh,
Take them out for now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
you should,
Okay.
you should take out you.
Ah, that's right. Moving on. What are you going to do? You have advantage because you've crossed off your holy symbol. Holy symbol of He-Man is now lodged in the bricks. You're holding on to it. Does seem to give you that extra strength.
By the power of Grayskull.
What skill are you going to? What skill do you think you're going to use to
Lightning's
try
gonna
to
come in.
neutralize these bricks?
I'm going to use my my religion.
Yeah.
And embrace the power of He-Man. And
That's right.
and tell-
Exactly.
and tell-
Yeah.
and tell the
You get a picture
skeleton-
of He-Man fighting the devil, like you get a picture of He-Man and a devil sort of going at it. Yeah.
the
That gives
chain
you-
devil somehow.
Yeah, it gives you advantage on this. All right, inspired. Roll.
Eat shit skeletons.
All right.
14. Highest is 14. What's that? Religion. 14. 14. 19.
You can ask somebody to do math for you, but there's usually somebody happy to do math. If you don't like doing math, just say the 2 numbers and they'll tell you
It's
that.
19.
Okay, 19, very good. You take out
Terrible
one of the
at it.
dangers. That's fine. If you want to do it yourself, get practice at it. If you don't want to do it, just say the 2 numbers and have somebody add it for you.
I'm getting rid of.
Okay, again with the Smaragds. Okay.
All right.
Smaragd, what are you going to do to try to neutralize some bricks?
Look, athletics, strength. I'm just gonna try and do the whole cartoon. You like feet one end,
Yeah, that's right.
and then just kind of
That's
try
right.
and make myself solid.
Good job, Smaragd. All right, unless you're making a sacrifice for these rolls.
Oh, nah.
Okay, all right.
14.
14 is enough to take out one of the dangers. Good job. All right, the only one. Yep.
Yeah.
So now it's the brick's turn. Who's got a chip? You've got the 1 chip left, I believe.
Apparently
Sorry.
do.
So you do an intelligence saving
Your
throw,
intelligence was
please.
better. I realised
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
Sorry.
I know.
I realised afterwards.
4 plus 3.
3.
7.
7. Not enough. We're looking for a higher number. Now you'll take 4 damage, but you've got a higher hit point total, so maybe your friends on your break can level you up to level 2. So if you go to 0, don't worry, because you got a few more hit points than what your maximum is there.
I regained all my health, didn't I?
That's true as well, yeah. But also your maximum is higher, so make sure that now you're
Oh,
level 2,
higher.
you have a higher maximum. We'll get to that moment.
Oh.
Lose 4 hit points, crushed by the bricks that you're not quite able to evade. So push that into the middle, and we have a second round. We're going to go the opposite direction. So again, split up these chips. Now you're trying to get out of the chimney, but there's still a few crucial seconds where you're still vulnerable.
You only have one, don't you?
Yep. Everybody happy with that split?
Mm-hmm.
3, 1, and 2. 3, 1, 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Starting with you, what are you going to do? If you failed at the thing last time, you can redo it, but you might. But you got to come up with something new if you succeeded last time. Give us a new picture.
Okay, can I then, again, now that I'm sort of
Yeah.
here, try and like get my warhammer out and actually use that to wedge between two bricks to
Yeah.
stop them coming in as
Use your-
well.
So let's use your
it's a
attack
left-
bonus here. Use your Warhammer. You know your Warhammer so well
I've been
that use
knocking
your
around
attack
with it,
bonus on this. So,
Okay.
so roll your
That
attack
might come in
bonus.
handy for what we do.
9.
Oh, the 9. It's a little too long. You're getting it just in space, but it's like, oh, the brick sort of moves out just in time. You didn't quite
And
get
it
it there.
slips
And now it's
and-
just kind of slips. Yeah, you just didn't get it the right angle. Doesn't do anything. What do you do?
I'm using my investigation to see
Yes.
if they're moving in a pattern of any sort.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, your saving throw is reading the pattern, but this is like proactively, like how are these things working? Like what's,
Yeah.
how can I slow them down? So yeah, go for it. Do an investigation roll. You have advantage because He-Man is powered. He-Man's intelligent
8.
as well as strong.
Investigation is 8, 9, 14.
14, very good. You were able to neutralize one brick. You realize that these bricks, like at one point, you see there's the bricks behind the bricks are black chains that are sort of like pulling and pushing them. And so by doing that, you realize like, oh, if you can kind of jam something, and they're briefly exposed, you can jam something, the links of the chains, and you slow them down. One brick is some bricks are neutralized that way. And you, what are you going to do to neutralize the bricks?
I don't know. Can I shove something just shove?
Yeah, you can use your
Something
you can use
between-
your weapon attack as a dagger to do that, but you can have something even more creative, another skill, but a dagger attack
Okay.
or short sword attack would also work.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking of just
Use your athletics or something to try and.
yeah.
Yeah, athletics.
Okay.
So yeah, sort of do what Schmarog was doing. Anything
Yeah,
colorful.
sure, that'll do.
Okay, so athletics. Okay, great. So I'm going to go and roll your athletics check on that. See if you can slow down some of the bricks well enough.
Another 4.
Another 4, probably not good enough.
And I have -1 athletics.
No, you got a small body, which really helped you last time. You scamper around because you've got a small body, but here where you're trying to lean against the other side,
Yeah.
it is not a great combination for you, and you're unable to remove it. Everybody's got at least one chip in front of you.
Sorry, I
Roll-
thought that was one of your higher skills that I
Yeah,
suggested.
Roll an
I was thinking it
intelligence
would be
saving
different,
throw.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
because you're calling it Julie. Use your athletics. Yeah, come on, do some push-ups. So yeah, you take that advice. Unfortunately, not the best advice.
With advantage.
No. The saving throws are just plain.
11 plus.
Whoa.
16.
16. You take no damage. Push a chip in. You've got one chip in front of you. So take a saving throw, please.
Take a saving
Intelligence saving
throw.
throw. And check each
Roll.
other on that. Just just make sure you're adding the right thing.
7 on dice.
Plus your intelligence.
Plus,
What you
I'll
said
take
it
your
was.
word for it. What's that, 10?
Plus your intelligence saving throw.
Oh, okay. You can just read that
Yeah.
from there.
And the way we like to do it on the table, if you actually say blah plus blah, that's an invitation for somebody to solve it for you. If you don't want somebody to solve it for you, just kind of do it. You can whisper to yourself. So that's fine. So yeah, feel free to fill that in. Somebody's saying the addition, go
Cool.
and do it. 10 it is.
Okay, sure.
Not good enough. So I'm afraid that you take some more damage. You take 4 more points of damage and push that chip in.
Oh man, don't die in the chimney.
Yeah, get another corpse in that chimney.
I
Woo!
have to
Down
fish
to
you
1.
out.
Shmarog
Okay.
is feeling guilty.
Everybody who rolled, push the chip in. Yeah, that chip goes
Do you
in.
want me to push
No,
it?
you can put it, yeah. I
Okay,
can't.
you've got 2 more to do. So do
Yep.
your second saving throw for another chip, another intelligence saving throw.
Another 11, so another 16.
Very good. Push that chip in. You evade another. You're the last one out of the
He-Man.
chimney. Go for it, He-Man.
That's
Oh,
yes!
great. Yes.
Wow.
You have got this figured out. Okay, you're
Sick.
out.
Eat shit, ghosts.
Here's a few things that, so you realize a few things from this, right? And, combat at a price, it'll tell you some things, not as much as a totally successful roll, but it does tell you some things. One is that these two things are linked, and as you reconstruct it, you can see not only that somebody could move from one chimney to the other, you think there's signs that this was actually done pretty often. Like you just tell by the way the soot is scuffed and the way the bricks are worn, that somebody was regularly using this chimney to go between these two fireplaces, kind of crawling up and crawling down. The iron bars, you don't think anybody got past those very thin iron bars up there, like a tiny creature is the only thing. But you think the chimney goes to the top. It would take a mouse or a cat to be able to get through there.
Chimney.
So whoever it was going back and forth, and whoever it was standing on these bricks that were behind this thing and the chimney of the upper fireplace, looking through that hole, and you see a drawing, like amongst the bricks you've disassembled. Like what's the sort of scraps of paper? You see what looks like a charcoal drawing, done, how skillfully? Done very skillfully, like a very fine artistic hand. It is a picture of a dwarf with a jail background, sort of like the bars of the jail. But there's flowers and things that are growing out and growing in vines and stuff, growing amongst the different bars. The dwarf has, on their lower half, has got greaves and sort of boots and stuff like that, like very strong sort of military gear with red accents and things. On the upper half, this dwarf is wearing a beautiful gown and has very full breasts, very nice long neck, has long hair, has a small beard because female dwarves they'll keep their beard rather neat and sort of very sort of finely nicely done in a typical dwarven female style, and with that hair and looking basically towards the drawer. Whoever was standing behind this, with what used to be the whistling fireplace, which you've now remarked, has been standing there, probably looking through this hole, and has done charcoal drawings of this sort, of a jail where the door of the jail is like covered with this arch of flowers.
Paint me like one of your French dwarves.
Can we take that drawing with us?
Yes.
Cool. Charcoal drawing.
You can have it.
Thank you.
Or is that
Torg looks at the drawing, and then just goes very quiet. So Torg goes over and you just hear this sort of breath, and Torg says,
I want, that was Eberk's. I want it.
Sure, Torb. No problem.
all right.
Trying to foster some goodwill.
Yeah. So Torg turns solid, takes that and sort of like looks at all of you, folds it up and puts it sort of tucks it away in his armor and sort of backs off and he just looks very very thoughtful. Like he looked at it, he folded up and he put it down. He went back to one of the jail cells. He's just like sitting there, just like staring off into space. Okay. So now mystery is going to be carved off in various things. So you have a big chunk of this mystery, and Torg's attitude has changed quite a bit. So this whole thing like,
Eberk, were you trying to reach me? Were you trying to rescue me by going in the chimney?
So his questions have changed. And if you take another whack at this later on, now you've got so many facts that you're going to learn this mystery faster. But we have to move on. Good? Okay, let me see if there's anything else I want to reveal. That was a lot of fun. I haven't done that one for a long time. Yep, that's the Torg mystery, hidden features. I think we covered that pretty well. Anybody totally mystified that wants to ask a question while I'm looking at
Will we
stuff?
get XP from that fight with the chimney?
Yes, you get XP for all this stuff. So all of you this act will get some XP.
Do we get loot from the chimney?
Actually, yeah. In the course of things, you do find little bits of loot as you go. We'll
Awesome.
sort of make that up as we go.
You get a brick.
You get a bit.
Sweet.
Yeah, actually, let's do that now.
And
So
some
you
charcoal drawn soft
Yeah.
in the corner.
You get
Ooh, look at
copious
those
amounts,
dwarves.
you get copious amounts of charcoal dust.
yeah.
Off it with Chop Chop later.
So you find some really nice artistic charcoals amongst there. Like there's a box, a nice copper box that has some really nice artistic charcoal. So it's basically an art object, something that can make art. So each of you, if you divvy this up, the charcoal bits, and either one person gets the box and the other two people get all the charcoal bits. The one's about 8 silver pieces. So just write down either, so just write down fine artistic charcoal 8 SP. The box probably isn't worth enough. Let's just split it up that way. Fine artistic charcoal 8 SP. Great. Okay. We have another mystery to go into, which is about Renish. So, you know how this goes. You want to roll high enough to not get in trouble? And I will soon set the timer and get stuck into it.
Yeah, I don't really remember much at all.
No.
Renish ones, so.
I think it's a bigger mystery
Yeah, we'll see.
and more troubling.
We can might spend stamps next time to figure it out.
Okay. This one is what are the Reds up to, particularly Renish? Okay. I will start a timer, and again, everybody can say something, It's just you two have the floor and can sort of take on the discussion at any point with the limited amount of time we have.
Okay.
So,
We know what the silvers do, so we want to find out what the reds do. So hopefully it's opposite of what the silvers do.
Well, we know that the reds are whatever that faction is called. Timekeeper. You can help.
A bandful.
A bandful.
A bandful.
Yeah.
They fought a war
And
against.
they won in the end.
And won a war against the other two clans, which are.
Nearath and Cavendor, and I didn't
Thank
have to
you.
look at that one.
Not even,
Okay,
not even just
great.
that. They were fighting wars against each other. For my history question, they were fighting a war against each other, and then somehow they've made a peace alliance with each other.
Wow.
So, Renash has told us that they also have a use for chaos shards, unripened chaos shards,
sure, yep.
and that they do not like the ripening of chaos shards, which
Good.
inferences that they have some other
Yeah.
Use for them.
So they
use.
Very good.
If I've got this correct, Renish is actually the person we see in that mosaic with the subservient humans that are looking with thingy. I think that was Renish that was in that mosaic.
In the
that,
fireplace?
that
Yeah.
cruel, proud look. And I believe we've met Renish before, right at the very, very beginning when the first lot of kobolds first took us to see someone. I believe that was Renish.
Okay.
Well, the
Very
Reds have
good.
obviously allied themselves with devils against the Silvers, who I suppose are loosely aligned with demons, since even well, if they're not aligned, at least they're using demons. And then Renish has told us that the devils are prepared to help humanity or whatever
and
defeat
the
the demons, because the demons are
All right. Okay. Great. So let's have
a
another.
more
greater
pressing threat, obviously.
greater
Yeah.
The choice
Okay.
between two evils. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Great. We want time for like one more thing. Someone's really itching to say something.
No. I mean, the ibuprofen's taking effect, but I'm still tired, so.
That's kind of all that I remember, I think.
Yeah. Just a few more seconds on this part.
Yeah.
Covers everything I've got.
Yeah.
No, I think
Good
it-
stuff.
yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Good. Okay. Let's continue with that. Good job. All right. Here are things that are quite relevant. There is a huge war between the devils and the demons. The demons and devils are very fundamentally opposed to each other, and it's the difference between law and chaos. And we can go into more if you roll well enough. But yeah, this is a huge part of the motivation for why the devils are involved in the agenda of the Reds. It's true that you've met Renish before. It's just good to note that sort of thing. So he's already evaluated before. So he was that figure that was in that tower that evaluated you. And now it makes sense. He was evaluating you there the same way that he was evaluating down here.
Wow.
And this is part of the agenda of what they're doing. This evaluation is part of that agenda. That they are after chaos shards, and the chaos shards must be raw, not ripened, not glowing in the way the silvers do. So that's very relevant to what they're up to. Definitely has to do with chaos shards. That they have been around for hundreds of years, part of which involved a war against the other clans, is relevant. This is something where it just tells you a lot about like the Reds' overall agenda of control. So that's something that's worth a point as well. These things are true, they just don't quite get to the right threshold. So the Reds are very opposed to the silver agenda. That's true, but that's also kind of covered. I'm just not going to give you an extra point because that has a lot to do with the devil versus demon problem. Which I think you've already deduced. Like one reason the Reds and Silvers are so opposed to each other is because the Reds are allied with the Devils and the Silvers aren't creating demons. If as much as Jop says, is completely accidental. So I can't give you an extra point because it's sort of the same thing. That they're actually called the Abanfils. That's very true. Is good, but it doesn't give you a point necessarily in this one. What they're called. What is untrue is that they made a peace alliance. This clan war did not end with peace. It ended with a total victory by Abanfil in this area. It's also not true that it's Renish in the fireplace mosaic. Is look closer at it, it's a dwarf that is sitting in the fireplace mosaic.
Oh, I've read down human.
Okay, yeah, very confident looking dwarf, I believe. I'll check that later, so I'll put a note, I'll ask a note. True? So before, I'll correct that if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure from what I remember.
That's
Okay.
what the slave people looking up at him.
Yeah, I
Yeah, the one
heard
with the
there was
slave
a
people?
human man, and I thought that was Renish.
It's certainly not Renish, whether it's human or dwarf, but it's definitely not Renish.
Okay.
Okay, so now think of a skill that the two of you have in common that you're both going to roll for to see if you get some trouble or get more answers.
Yeah, well, 5.
Athletics.
Athletics.
We're doing athletics.
Yeah, sure. There's always a way to work in athletics. I love working in athletics on that.
That's 5. Yeah.
Think of if
Well, they
you
like
want to.
they're banned for like strength, so we need
Show
to.
strength.
Yeah,
Shows.
sure, of course. And is there a sacrifice that you are making to do this? So
Yes.
with your case, it could be an
Can we
object
back to
is
it?
worth something.
Oh, can we both do it?
Well, we got given a glyph of onyx while we were killing the imp Stenhill, and I will sacrifice that because I've tried to sacrifice it for 3 turns.
Ah, okay, great. Yes, hang on. Yeah.
I want to get rid of it.
One of the
You're not
the gems that were worth 20 gold
One.
pieces that we just
Yeah, that's
recently
what I've read in this
received,
book. That it's
I
worth
could
about 100
sacrifice
gold
that.
pieces.
Yeah, so
Spell
what I do is I
from
like
it.
to sort of, I like to make it a chance. So if you're going to sacrifice, it's worth 20, that's a lot, right? What I'll do is that you're willing to sacrifice, you're going to offer it, and there's a chance that'll be sort of received. Otherwise, it might be like, oh, I don't need your gem, all right? So this is a way to represent something that's worth 20, so you have like a...
Oh, actually,
I'm
no,
trying
I
to
won't
set-
do my thing. I will get rid of a gold bead from the devil because I'm probably not going to trade with them anyway.
That's
Okay.
we got 21 gold pieces we're offering. Yeah, value. That's pretty good.
Okay, I'm just writing this down. So Shudian with
One of those.
chance at a 20 GP gem.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Find some strength too.
Yeah.
All right. And using athletics. And what the Reds are up to is a little more advanced, to know these secrets. I'll call this like about a level 3 sort of thing, but still, it's about the same DC. It's fine. So we're still going for a 19 on this to start discovering stuff.
All right, come on, He-Man.
Go for it.
Oh, yes,
Roll
20.
advantage, right? And if you're rolling advantage, yeah, roll 2. That's
Oh,
fantastic.
shit, yeah.
Okay,
20
you are
it is.
too. Roll the 2 dice at the same time. If you're rolling with
Yeah, go for it,
advantage, you get the advantage whether
That's
it's
one.
that's one.
Yeah.
Okay.
20 it is, mate.
Yeah,
We got it.
We'll go with that. So it's through the day one, so you can.
All right. So what is the higher of the 2 rolls?
20.
20 total plus these 4.
No,
so
20,
athletics?
20 including. Oh, sorry, no, I forgot
Yes,
to add
add your
athletics.
athletics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
add your athletics.
25.
Yeah.
Woo! All right.
Because you've got the higher athletics. So yeah,
Very good. You beat it by 5. That means that you don't get any trouble. You get lots of information and without any trouble in any combat. So good job.
Good team.
25 is best by
We didn't sacrifice as
Fogram.
well. No. We didn't need the sacrifice.
The sacrifice was for advantage. That's why I rolled 2 dice.
That's right.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Now you, if you roll a d20, if it's a 1 or a 2, you lose your gem. Because basically it's like, you just need some 1/20. Okay, no, you get to keep your gem after. So you took a chance at losing a 20 gold piece gem, but it didn't turn out, so good for you.
That's all right.
Okay. Okay, gem roll did not lose. All right, so you talk mostly to Renish as you reveal the following. And I won't entirely do it in his voice, this might occasionally do this. It's like, I'm so glad that you want to learn more about the Abandonfills. So you realize from him that you are being trialed. This whole purpose of these dungeons is to, adventurers like yourself, they all want power, but we only accept the best. We want to see who has true heroic potential, as you call it. So they're trying to figure out who has the ability to level up and be a real hero, not just some piker who just likes wearing red and having tattoos and talking shit about women and elves, which is what the Reds generally sit around and do.
Those
Right?
libertarians,
They're
they're
misogynists, they're hierarchical, and you get a lot of this from Renish. Renish says there's a great chain of
farmers end up
hierarchy.
further than us.
This world is too disordered and everything has a place on the great chain of hierarchy. And he goes on to explain all the sort of what somebody described like some sort of desperate neo-Nazi incel. Talking about humans are superior to the other races, any both a male soul that expresses maleness is superior to anybody who expresses femaleness. Animals are all to be subjugated by intelligent creatures. The devils, but this is just for the devils are superior to us. That's why we obey the devils. We're on that hierarchy chain. So it's just, he goes on and on about this is the only way to order societies. Everybody has to know their place in a great linear chain of hierarchy. And he maps that out a great deal. Anybody can be an adventurer, but of course, the one they're most looking for are ones that particularly not elves. The other humans and the other races are largely equal, but they definitely don't like elves for whatever reason. Elves are all inferior. They're not too crazy about halflings either, and that you realize they should at least choose to have a male soul in this world. As part of the magic that you have, people can change their morphology just through concentration and through kind of, visualization, they can morph into express like a more male body or a more female body. They can morph from one to the other just based on kind of how they feel, what they want to express, or something in between. So he holds a soul accountable for choosing to express, in a certain way, for choosing to express feminine quality and so is masculine quality. And again, in this world, you've never heard this a bonkers theory. It's like us saying, left-handed people are inherently inferior to right-handed people. That used to be believed hundreds of years ago. Now, of course, it's a ridiculous thing to think that left-handed people are inferior. It's like we'd say it's a bonkers thing to believe. But these people have this sort of weird fringe belief. And as part of this hierarchical nature, this justifies slavery, this justifies domination, this justifies taking what you want through force. Obviously as an evil force. This place is all about initiation. Red towers are where people get initiated into the Red Order. They are brought to that cold room. They are chained up. And they are designated to fit somewhere in that order. They might be toughened up to join the Reds as like a fighter or an infiltrator or a spy if they survive the initiation, which has something to do with raw chaos shards. At some point, a raw chaos shard gets implanted into them. And Renish touches his chest. Renish stays he's always like floating away from you, but you can still see a distance. Not floating away, he's standing sort of a distance away from you. And he doesn't like you to getting close. Like it's part of his, he wants you to kneel, he can't really get him to talk unless you're kneeling at his feet. He's just got this domination thing. But you can sort of see him touch his chest in a particular spot. Raw chaos shards get implanted into someone, it placed close to their heart, and that empowers them in the Red Order. It gives them more strength, and it gives them the ability to pass their memories on. Something about passing on. There's no time to, or you don't get the next level deeper on that. But something to do with preserving knowledge and preserving experience through this long chain of time, as well as the chain of hierarchy. There's a chain of red commands that have gone back for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it keeps the knowledge secret and safe and insular, basically. Mm-hmm. Reds are spies as well as soldiers. They will infiltrate places. They will be advisors to kings and queens. They'll be advisors to high priests, priestesses. So they won't always reveal the fact they're a member of the Reds. They'll secretly be a member of the Reds, but they always usually have a signal so other Reds can recognize them. Usually it's a particular color of red, or a particular tattoo, or even a particular gesture that they'll do that only someone who's initiated in the Red Order can recognize this sign.
Like an incel Nazi.
Exactly what I'm thinking. Like this is
Freemason.
That's like
And that's why he won't tell you what all the different tattoos mean, and he won't show you what the gestures are, because you're not supposed to know. You're not members of the Red, but you were invited to become members of the Abanfil clan, to join the Reds, if you're willing to follow their rules and be sincere. You are, because you've proven mettle, but you get captive. You're held very, very cold for many days. You're suffering. You're being tortured. You're being abused, and you're in this desperate place where you see this picture of this fireplace with these beautiful, warm, subjugated people, or this very powerful, warm man sitting there, and you just stare at that fireplace, wishing that you could be sitting at that fireplace as you're freezing to death day after day. Some people are enslaved this way. People are not designated, obviously they're not good enough to be soldiers among the Reds, but they're good enough to be slaves of the Reds. So they'll take he's and she's of every possible race and put them in the same thing, and essentially just get them to he's very, very, a way that very much fits the philosophy. Eventually they realize what their proper place underneath the feet of their superiors are. And so you can see those very happy people that are sort of acting as furniture. You get the idea eventually you must guess these people just get browbeaten. Maybe it's magical, maybe it's just brainwashing, maybe it's just the only way for them to survive. They adopt and they learn their place, and they love being in their proper place. Your happiness can only come through being in your proper place. So all that shit. Mm-hmm. And this is all about, this is what's necessary to have victory over the demons. He says, the demons are coming. This world is going to sink into chaos very soon. And only the strongest order, unconstrained by your rules of good, are going to stop the tide. Demons are not good. Devils are not good. But devils have order. And order beats chaos. If we organize now, that's why you must join us.
British doesn't even care about good or evil, just cares about order.
Right, so order is very strong. Evil is basically just the lack of good. In my sort of cosmology, to the way he's saying, good is just a list of things you're not allowed to do to pursue your goal. Evil just has a shorter or non-existent list. It's okay to enslave, to kill, to lie, to cheat, to steal, all those things in the pursuit of your goal, because the goal is the most important thing. Good people might be lawful, but they have to respect life and respect liberty and not impinge on other people.
It's not slavery, it's just debt slavery.
Well, yeah, so it's slavery, but it's slavery in the fact that they get them to agree, and also you get the idea, some slaves, well, even if they don't agree, they'll be slaves anyways, just they're happier if they follow our philosophy. They'll be happy slaves if they just see their proper place. If they resist, then they're just miserable slaves, is you get the idea. Wow. They'll enslave you either way. So now you know the purpose of the tattoos, and as he talks about with the papers and things, we don't maybe have, so the last thing is those papers that are there. He says, other great adventurers have come before you. One of the greatest back in it's several years ago, you can check the papers for when, is Potter Glosson, last name Glosson. Potter, you know, is a name for father. It's like an old title for father. Glosson, Glassen. Potter Glosson, he was one of the strongest ones. He came, he did initiations, he joined our order, he went to the bottom, and he made a Banfield win the fucking war, unlike you were unable to do. Salranish sort of dissing you again for putting the gauntlet onto Narath. But as he talks, you realize that he's talking about something that happened hundreds of years ago. Potter Glosson was here hundreds of years ago. We don't see his like. You are all weak. You're all soft snowflakes. Snowflakes blowing. You're like snowflakes blowing around. You don't have the strength that adventurers used to have. But we will admit you to the order because you can still learn. All right. You've learned a few things, hey?
Yeah. What a bunch of dicks.
Literally a bunch of dicks.
We've been
A bag.
targeted or been
Groomed.
watched,
You're being
by
watched, yeah.
by the Red Clan right from the very, very, very beginning, haven't we?
Yeah, you figure from the red mirrors, we learn about these fragments and the fact that a whole red mirror, the devil's able to watch you through the red mirrors.
I'm thinking even
But also, other things maybe
right
he's
back
flying
to when
around
we
right
first
The tower thing.
Yeah, the
in
tower.
town.
Mhm.
I'm thinking right back to the beginning of the town when we were first starting to get into that carriage and we're traveling with it because there's the baby with the red sash and then there's
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
we-
And that
It
exact
may be even
same
further
color
back
of red.
than
He says
that.
like a particular color of red.
From
the
that
exact
haunted
color of red
house,
is the
that
same.
house we went to, then when we were kids.
Well, that
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
That'll be
Yeah, the red
attraction.
robes. That's
They're
right. That's why
mainly
red
watching
is
us
so
for
interesting.
all part of
People
the
priming us for this moment.
wearing red for these
at
robes.
the
Yes.
Very much so.
Well, you know that you've always
felt.
felt special. Like even from a child, you've always
Wow.
been a faster learner. You've recovered from damage
just-
faster. And people said, "Oh,
They've got spies.
you remind me of those
everywhere, so-
heroes from stories." And then you decided, like, I'm going to go see if I am one of those heroes from stories. In fact, you're level 2. Like being just even level 1 makes you extraordinary, like a top 1% achiever amongst everybody you've ever known. Being level 2 is like, wow, you are starting to be like a little bit of a superhero. You're like sort of early Spider-Man level, kind of like much tougher, more extraordinary. You're not Superman or Catwoman or anything yet, but you're junior Spider-Man now.
Is it possible that they've been influencing our events our whole lives, like Darth Palpatine, Darth Sidious with Anakin? Just like
all the backstory.
slowly, like, oh, you need to go be adventurers. Your debts are being called in. You need to go out and explore the world to get some money. And so they slowly start to push you out into the fucking little bastards.
I know you're like an elven subhuman apparently, so
Oh,
maybe not. With
I
you.
am. I can we just agree to join these bastards to cyanide them?
Yeah,
all?
but as he's talking about elves, it says there are certain elves that manage to rise enough in our ranks. Elves can be acceptable. They just have a natural disadvantage, I find.
And you put a straight in this fucker.
It's because they live too long. They're not in a hurry the way that humans are.
Gotta put a fucking sword.
It makes the silvers not seem so bad up.
I'm gonna gain the spell wish and make him female.
This might be beyond like what you've told us, but basically that initiation room torture chamber, do the people who sort of survive that and come out of it the other side either go to either become one of two things, either a slave or a soldier, or are there also sort of hierarchical positions in between?
Yeah, they're all hierarchical. There are
Mm.
hierarchies within slaves. Like there's some slaves that are especially happy about and they're especially well treated and they get special amounts of like they live much cushier lives and they're very much prized and traded, like commodities. And those slaves do very well. There are slaves lower down the hierarchy that are more miserable and have less good
Resistant.
conditions. Same thing with soldiers, sort of be a real pleb that is underneath just imagine a vertical military style hierarchy, where it's just you have ranks and your job in that hierarchy is to claw your way to the top. You get the idea that one of the ways you claw your way to the top, it's acceptable to try to kill your superior. Like as you talk about this hierarchy, it's like
Right, that's like
if you
the
want to climb the chain, you
That's it.
kill your way up the chain.
Because it places you in a new place in that order.
That's right, yeah. If you think you're stronger than your boss, you should try killing your boss. This is the way it works in hell. In hell, you spend an eternity just killing things and getting more powerful by defeating things and putting yourself higher up the chain in hell.
Incredibly
I thought-
self-destructive system.
And are those basically the only two sort of pathways within
On
this
the
for
material
order?
plane, but you get the idea that there's upper commanders, like red commanders, and he speaks quite long. It's like so that I am actually quite important in the red hierarchy, but even I report to someone else on here in the material plane, but even they report to a devil.
Wow.
Even they know their place, and even the devil knows his place underneath another devil, all the way up to Asmodeus, who's the head of all devils. A chain dozens, hundreds of links deep.
I think it's the same question, but I'm going to try to ask it slightly differently. So as the Bandful are sort of initiating people, taking people, trying to put it into this, get more people to be in their order and to place them correctly in that order, again, is the only two sort of things are, like the only, when they're testing and taking these adventurers, they're either looking for them to become either some sort of a slave or a soldier. There's that basically, and the soldiers will work their way up and the slaves will be placed where they are, but that kind of is it. There's no sort of place for medicine people or people
It's
for
a meritocracy towards the goal. If the goal is to build a strong organization that is organized and rich and well equipped to be able to defeat all the roles of chaos, but not just demons, like even just hippies, people who just don't believe in order, right? Or you just like anybody who's just not taking things seriously enough. Their goal is to put the world in order in every possible way. Control commerce, control power, control territory, to be ready for anything.
science and knowledge and
And in that, it's a meritocracy, right? So a slave can obviously, you think it became obvious from talking to him that a slave could earn their way up and prove, they've learned something by being a slave, and now they're ready to become a soldier, and then become a stronger soldier. That is a complete meritocracy. As long as you can kind of kill your way up or show your merit to be promoted from above, or to just take your spot above you because you're actually better than your boss, smarter and stronger than your boss, that's all okay. So everybody can be pushed down the chain. If you don't do a good job, someone who was a soldier will be turned into a slave. Just like those lemure, like a lemure was either torn up into pieces like you saw, or that lemure was promoted to become an imp. You saw that happen, but the devil did.
Meritocratic Freemasonic fashions.
That is a terrible system for order.
Hey, look at history. This is a very popular system in many ways.
Doesn't work. You're getting rid of. Oh my god, it's so dumb.
It can work for a decade or so. Then it tends to fall apart. But they've held on for hundreds of years. They've had their comings and goings. This great war that you had, right? The Abanfils were on top, but also you heard from the story that you did before, like the Abanfils built this tower, and then eventually the fall of Nerath came and they lost a lot of power. The monsters took over and they got scattered. Renish is still here, but where are the other Reds? Where are all the red towers? But he talks about a Banful has much power and this power will rise again. You get the idea there are red towers somewhere in the world, just you haven't seen one yet.
How old is Renish?
He's very hard to read. Again, you succeeded well enough that you picked up a few things and did some notes. His it's almost like someone who's had like really good plastic surgery, and that they have that weird mix of both middle-aged and very old. Like something in his eyes is extremely old, But just as far as like skin and the color of his beard, he's got some gray in his beard. He's
That'll be the
human.
deal with the devil.
He doesn't have terrible wrinkles. He doesn't look like somebody who's over 50 or 60, except for the eyes and just something about the attitude and the way he moves. You get the idea like there's some weird mix of ages going on there.
So, given we're in the year 598, is it likely he was around back in like year zero, that common year zero? Is he going to be possibly that old? Like with a
When you ask me those, I don't talk to my inferiors about my own history.
That's a yes.
We have
Yeah,
to
if you ask
find
like,
out by
so,
going to the tower.
yeah, so when did you join the Reds? Rose like, and she's just very dismissive. It's like, I don't answer such questions.
So we have
Can
to
someone
go-
else ask? Because I'm a they, so I still have that sort of slight female energy as well as male energy.
Don't ask me.
One
I'm
of you
like-
can
It's like,
ask.
what is they? And what is this
I
pronoun
feel
they?
like-
Because
that
I don't
everybody's-
fit. I don't fit in the
For the
order.
last 100 years, I've heard a
British
lot
is
of this
nothing to
pronoun.
do
I'm
with
getting
me, so I
very
don't fit
upset
in
about
that
it.
order.
Don't ask me. He's a fucking ageist, and he lives it longer than
feel
I
like
do.
Renash, you're like even below the,
Yeah.
the female elves.
I don't know what to do with
Exactly, because
they.
I don't fit into the order. So someone else needs to
wanna
ask that
kill him
question.
just now? Do you want to just kill the fucker?
We have a few minutes left. You can launch yourself
Can we?
at him.
I'm going to launch myself at him.
That feels really.
I'm doing it. Fuck
Counterproductive.
it.
Okay,
Look,
so,
it feels
so
counterproductive.
let's just say it'd be a great way to end the session, but we'll end with a vote, if not the fight itself. So you've all gotten this together. You all seem to agree. There's a bunch of fuckers, this guy. And Wrench is still down there, just kind of waiting. It's like, I'm willing to answer more questions if you have good ones. He's still up there. He's up a brick wall, but the bricks slid out to create sort of like a staircase. Like once you sort of you start off by talking to him and being very nice and try to fake the sort of or athletics, right? So your athletics were like you started climbing the wall. That's what worked so well. It's like if you want to talk to me, then reach me. You can get to me. And you have chains and the bricks. I should have described this before. That you actually use your athletics to get up there. And eventually he just watches as you're struggling, slipping down the chains, cutting yourself a little bit. Not enough to lose hit points because you rolled well enough, but with a lot of danger. The bricks would very slightly move. Like the bricks used to be completely sheer, but by the time you get to the wall, you notice the bricks they've slightly moved out to create the tiniest little handholds, almost like a climbing gym. As you're climbing up on that. You hear the voice from the ice. Dude, climb the wall, dude. No. It's like a climbing gym. And you manage to struggle your way up there. And that's why you impress him enough to he says, I will deign to talk to you, but stay down there. So he was like up a couple steps, like stay down there, kneel, and I'll talk to you. And exhausted, that's how you got to talk to him. But those steps are still there, and you're capable of climbing it. You think that rules are rules. You don't think that if you wanted to attack him, you could sort of ingratiate your way into it, get the rest of you to come up like, everybody else here just loves what you've been saying. They want to hear it again, and get up, and then you can decide to just jump him, and we can end it that way. But it should be something like. At the very least, it should involve everybody. I think it should all be in. We don't want to split the party in this regard.
Given
So
that,
discuss whether you want to do that.
I was to say, what is the level of the monsters we've been dealing with so far, and what is Renish's level?
Fuck him. Get him on.
Because he might be way more than we can do
All
right
we
now.
have to do is surprise him. A surprise attack by a predator
Do you think
species
he's
will
going to
work.
be surprised though?
So each
He's
of
been
you-
watching us.
To evaluate
Yeah,
that.
but he keeps calling us weak and pathetic, so he's hyping up his own ego about how they would never dare such a thing. And
When
we're
you're
just like,
evaluating,
goading
so
us.
there's something I do when you're
Channel
evaluating
that
whether
very
to fight
well.
someone or not. We'll do more of this later on. The sort of melee or parlay involves this as well. So what you do get to do is each of you can use a skill you have to be proficient in. It has to be a skill that you've trained. And it's a fairly high DC, but if you pick that skill and have a question, you can answer that question. It might inform whether he's okay to attack. So something like insight would probably read like whether like usually if you want to know how strong an enemy is, insight is, or if you think that there's another skill that relates to like the knowledge base that he's on. Like if you're assessing a monster, I ask you to pick a skill. Like I say if it's an animal, nature is the skill that will tell you that. If you pick the right skill that sort of matches his nature, then also that would answer something. So if you want to, before you make the decision whether to attack him or not, each of you are welcome to pick one skill you're proficient in, make a roll of quite a hard DC, but it's possible, and there's no risk. If you get it wrong, there's nothing to lose.
Well, strength.
Um,
Find out how strong he is.
yeah, I will try and use survival to
I think survival is a good one.
determine if I will die.
Okay, hang on. Give me a second.
Can we all roll this?
Yeah, each one at a time. So we'll
Okay.
do one at a time. If anything, you'll find out some stuff here.
Cool.
Let me look something up. How do you spell Asmodeus? I'm just-
I was gonna say basically the way you spelt it out would work.
A-E.
Okay, I know what the DC is. So in any order.
Yeah.
Survival.
Survival.
Yeah, roll survival.
Go for it.
Woo!
22.
22. You think all of you together in an ideal sort of situation jumping this guy would have a chance of taking him down. There's a very good chance that you'd all die in the process.
That kind of puts the kibosh on that, doesn't it?
It would be possible,
You may be swatted like flies.
but he's above your level even collectively.
Shit.
And I'm apparently
That's what
on
I
one
wanted to
hit
look.
and 1 hit point.
But while you're at it, so now you know that. You can confirm that because if you get even higher, you might discover, or you could do another roll if you're proficient in it.
So can I try a medicine check to just to go like, does he even have any weak spots physically?
Sure. Yeah. Do medicine check.
Ooh, 24.
24.
Hang on. Yep, 24.
You really have studied him. You can't find you can't learn it, which is weird because you feel like you're good
He's
at sort of
old,
reading
but
humans.
not
Yeah. But it's weird. It feels like there's something. You rolled so high. It's like there's some other explanation. Like you really know a lot about human physiology. It's like you feel like he's just like a cipher when you try to read any sort of sign. When you try to like, what's his pulse? What's the color of his skin? How's he holding himself? Does he have any joint pains? Like, what's his musculature like? For whatever reason, when you look at him, it's like you just can't find anything remarkable about him at all, which itself is kind of weird. So good roll did tell you that you think that if he were just an ordinary human, surely you'd be able to come to some conclusion.
We would have to destroy the shard that's...
Or remove it.
I want to go Arcana to see how many spell slots he may possess. Or
Okay, sure.
18, so 18 plus 5.
Okay, great. Again, the good thing about high rolls, even if you don't tell, is it's a negation of things. Like, whatever power he has, it is not of an arcane nature.
Okay.
So he doesn't have arcane power.
So he's not like a wizard or anything.
Potentially demonic if they're signing with demons.
So he's getting his power from somewhere else,
From the
like a
devils,
car,
the devils.
petrol
Yeah,
station.
whoever hasn't rolled, if you want religion, for example, so devils would be religion would be so religion is a different kind of magic from arcana. Yeah, feel free.
That's a terrible.
Yeah, so arcana and religion are two different sources of power. One is divine power, and one is arcane power from like secrets and knowledge. So religion will, but you have to be proficient in religion.
Not proficient, no.
Anybody who hasn't rolled want to do a roll? Something you're good at?
No.
You can even use stealth to try to sneak up and see how perceptive he is. If you're very stealthy, you could see how
I got
easy it is to
7.
sneak up on.
I got 7.
Yeah, roll stealth.
I'll try it and find.
See if you can kind of vanish into the shadows
Okay,
around him, move around and see if he notices that you've changed locations.
Oh, so that's 14 in total.
With a 14, okay. So what I'll do is I will compare this to his passive perception. Who's good at insight? Yeah, somebody did good insight. Yeah. So
Oh, I'm a
you
plus
rolled good
3.
insight.
Plus 3.
Yeah.
No, okay. Yeah. Okay, you've got enough people with insight. You're pretty sure, like, as you snuck around,
Yeah.
he didn't seem to notice you, and those of you who have good insights, like, it's not like, you don't think that you think he actually didn't see Gammy. You think that after Gammy was still moving around, you don't think that he was pretending not to see Gammy or ignoring Gammy? Who has the good insight? Decent
We're
insight.
both plus 3.
Yeah. So you the way you read him, can't be sure, but you can swear like he's not just knows Gammy is there, is ignoring him. He seems to not notice that Gammy's kind of circled around behind him. Maybe his perception isn't all that great.
Oh, that's
So a roll can tell you something.
okay.
Is that because he's a halfling, and so as far as his
Well, I
extent
tell,
doesn't exist?
So I'm sort of using your passive insight in a way, right? So
Or is he just not that good at
I'm not letting
seeing
you roll insight. So either he's extremely deceptive and knows exactly where Gammy is and is so clever that he's not giving it away, or he actually doesn't see Gammy. So the higher your insight is, the more sure you can be that he actually doesn't see it.
Okay.
Or the more clever he has to be to hide the fact that he doesn't see Gammy. Do you have something that you'd want to try?
I could go a persuasion roll, I suppose, +4.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, do persuasion, try to get maybe an extra bit, and maybe I'll if you roll high enough, you'll get one extra question, especially deep.
Maybe not that good.
What's your total?
That would be 11.
11. Unfortunately, not. No, you don't. You try to sweet talk him into revealing more. That's not on his terms, and you're unable to. Okay, so based on that, raise your hand if you want to attack him, and we can sort of end with a
Not yet.
little bit of a combat round.
But next session, I'd go to that devil to ask for something.
At least kick him in the shin.
No, I'm
no hands
waiting.
raised. Nobody's doing it. Okay,
No.
that's too bad. Not too bad.
Save him for later, then we can go to his tower and nick all of his loot and shit.
Dismantle the.
Because there's another one of those puzzle rooms or
Yeah.
treasure rooms, sorry,
Right,
at the Temple
to
Soon.
That's right.
Sorry, is it Temple de Soon, is it? Or
Temple
Soon?
Temple too soon.
Too Soon.
Yeah, T-O soon. Like the temple dedicated to soon. The temple too soon.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. And, 9 o'clock was fine, and I used to always end at 9 now, in between 9 and 9:30, so I'm happy to take the win and go to Brewdog and talk more. But if people say, like, no, we all want to do a little bit more, do one more step of investigation, I'm very happy to, but so this is where I start asking, like, raise your hand if you want to do one more beat here.
XP, please, from the bricks.
Yes, okay. Very good. Yeah, so the second half. Now, let's talk about XP. So the more danger that you're in, the more the XP is, right? So the bricks, it still is like an easy combat, even though it banged you up a little bit. You weren't really in danger of dying too much. It was largely controlled, and that's why I'm giving you this. So it is. Give me a moment. I gave you 25 XP for the first thing.
Yeah, for the face off with the.
Yeah, that's right.
In the ice blocks.
Yeah. And yes, is another 25 XP.
100 away from leveling up.
Oh boy! Yeah, let me make sure.
Level 3.
That was 25.
More spell slots.
Oh, yeah.
They did horde splitting, a lot of stuff there. We spent a lot of time on that. So horde splitting doesn't give you any XP.
No.
What a pity.
I'm gonna have some two really shiny rings from it.
Yeah. And as a result, each of you get a so Renish, after talking to all of you, give you money that you he'll be disappointed to learn you'll share easily. Each of you gets a shiny gold coin.
One.
One shiny gold coin.
Does that have like a value attached to it?
Take a shiny coin.
Inflation's really biting hard.
Well, remember, that's like a $50 note in today's parlance.
Yes, but I'm sure that once upon a time, if French is
Don't worry.
500, 600 years old,
Don't spend it all in one
it would
place.
have been.
So yes, each of you had one gold piece.
A burger costs 20 cents.
But they all have the same provenance, and they're again, it's got a face on it that you don't recognize. It's like it's a provenance from a city that you've never really heard of.
Sorry, what does provenance?
Provenance means like its
Suburb.
origin, like its artistic origin. Oh, that'd be province. Provenance just means, like when we talk about the provenance of an art piece, is who made it and who's owned it previously. So the provenance of a coin is like where was it minted.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a city that, and there's no year on it, it's not a face you recognize, but they're all the same face.
It'd be like those those caramel lollies that grandparents all seem to have.
Yeah.
Just carrying it around for like decades. Don't know where they came from, but never got it.
I'll eventually get it.
I hope you enjoyed watching us teach Dungeons & Dragons to absolute beginners. Want to know more about how we do it? Then support our nonprofit mission. Unlock extensive how-to videos and use the Courage and Chaos method yourself by using free materials that we provide. You can get all that at the link that you see here. That is tinyurl.com/teachdd, or you can click that link in the description. Of course, please like, share, and subscribe. We're going to come out with these videos every 2 weeks in this series, so I will see you again soon.